Hello and a very warm welcome back to eRacing GP Global Edition, round 3 of 6 of Season 2. Alex Young alongside Des Cork, and also Amo Hazik joining us in the commentary box a little bit later on. Let's very quickly just tell you what's coming up this weekend. Alex, it's the usual affair. We've got copper, bronze, silver and gold editions. We've got a graphic about the characters who are leading in those 4 competitions. You just want to talk us through that?
Yeah. Okay, so obviously Alif Hamilton is, and you can see him on the far left. Muhammad Nabil, he's leading the championship class at the moment by quite a bit, so he's looking very good as well from Malaysia. Haris Sefi Shami, he's now leading the bronze class. He was not leading after round 1, but he had a really good round 2 and he's now leading that. And of course Zero Sumodobila from Philippines is leading the copper class.
And we'll
highlights first.
Can never have good enough publicity. We'll see some of the belay a little bit later on. Our focus though is very much on the gold class for today.
Yep.
2 groups with the qualifications coming up. What do we mean by eRacing Grand Prix? This was last week's final. This was one hell of a race. When the red lights go off, we will be underway. Jaka Sizwoyo is on pole position. Jaka and Indonesia's Andika Rama alongside him. Jaka, as you can see, has made a flying start, but Andika Rama is alongside him. Andika Rama it is. He'll go into the first corner with the lead. Miko Nasi, we saw him. He's in P3. Alif Hamilton is in P4. He goes into P3. All kinds of contact as Nakib tries to get involved. He goes on the inside. Wow, Nasi is really feeling the pressure, but it's Jaka Sizwoyo and Andika Rama who lead the lead, and Nasi just able to hold on to P3. Jaka Sizwoyo leads from Andika Rama. Andika Rama might employ the DRS there. Difficult place as he is just shadowing. Again, it's a 40-minute race. It's each of the racers. Sizwoyo got in the lead. Then Nakib goes through into P2. Muhammad Nakib, the 19-year-old from Malaysia. He is the man to put pressure now on Andika Rama. Got himself into P2. Wonderful maneuver inside Jaka Sizwoyo. I want to take us down to P7 where Josh Perwin is trying to get the better of Inigo Anton, who's right on the tail of Jaka Sizwoyo, the double winner yesterday. Nakib again takes a slightly different line in front of them. He's in the blue. Andika Rama, he's not holding them up, but he can't get away from them either, Alex. It's does he stick? Does he twist? Does he just try and lead from the front? At the front, Nakib has taken the lead. Sorry, as we look at the pits, Nakib has eventually decided, I want to go in now. Is that suggesting he is going to hit the pit next time around? And there is Nakib into the pits. That was indeed the strategy. This is the long pit lane. He's got to hit Abbey, and then that's when we'll find out if he is. And he's come out in the lead. Quite considerable lead ahead of Nasi, Alif Hamilton and Andika Rama.
Sheds drag and he's able to pull out, and he's going to go into the lead. If I was these 2 drivers, I would work together to try and pull a gap towards Alif and Rama, who are just behind. They're over a second behind. There's a real chance that these 2 could pull a gap.
But Alif Hamilton is not to be trifled with. Alif has got himself up into P2. Maybe you put on 50 kilos, not 15 next week, just to prevent the brilliance of Alif Hamilton. And he's not too far behind Nakib. The differential, Alex, between Nakib in P1 and the next car, Alif Hamilton, 0.9 of a second. Andika Rama live pictures has gone into the lead. Nakib. Now then, Alif Hamilton has dropped back into P4. Miko Nasi has rejoined this fun fair and has got himself back into P3.
Who's going to make a mistake? Who's going to blink? I got a feeling it's going to come down to that. This is the last lap of the race. Nakib's all over the back of Andika Rama as they come in. Oh, look at that! Oh! There's a bit of lag there for Miko Nasi. Oh, that he's lost ground now on the top 3. Oh, look at that, covering the inside. Look, Nakib goes down the inside. They've touched. That's allowed Hamilton through. Hamilton into the lead.
Alif Hamilton, of course. Deja vu all over again. Nakib has lost a position where he could have won. Andy Karama was leading. Poor old Miko Nasi. He's recovered. Nasi implements the DRS. He's got Andika in his sights. Goes around the inside of Andika. A contact, a big contact. Nakib spins and spins into fourth place. Alif Hamilton, meantime, has got himself a full second clear. Nakib is out of the race. They come round into Vale, and then finally the club corner. A last lap overtaking maneuver from Alif Hamilton means that he has secured the victory. Nasi, a brilliant second from Andika. Nakib, a miserable time for him. Another fourth from a podium position. Sizwoyo fifth. I know self-praise is no praise, but that was one heck of a race. Do encourage you to stick along with these guys. Muhammad Alif Hamilton, insane consistency. 6 races we've had so far in 2 rounds of the Global Edition. 6 times Alif Hamilton has got himself on pole, somehow getting himself from 4th place into 1st place to win last week's 40-minute final. So the race top 5, Alif Hamilton, no wonder he's got a big beaming smile in the middle of your screen there. He is leading the championship. Josh Perwin on his right hand shoulder is second, the Australian ahead of Naki Baslan, the young Malaysian in P3. Andy Karama, who had a win double, he's the young gent with the glasses on the extreme left of that picture. And Jackie Sizwoyo, it was a very successful weekend last weekend at the Silverton circuit for Indonesia. They will hope to carry on that success. Alex Young alongside me, Des Corkill in the commentary box as the guys just complete the last couple of minutes of practice. And Alex, we can't let last week's race go by without an additional comment from you. It was truly genuine, fabulous sporting competition.
Yeah, it was really excellent. That's the great thing about these DTM cars and the drag reduction systems that they have to run. The DRS means you always have exciting racing side by side, which is how it should be in motorsports. I mean, you've done Cut Pre and stuff. We love side by side stuff, don't we?
Certainly do. There's more contact, the better. Right, let's get our attention onto this particular track, and we are in Austria at the Red Bull Ring, which is an event that we've already held on eRacing GP. Talk us through the circuit if we can. Who'd be good to go along? Maybe Inigo, Anton, perhaps Alex, if we get on board with Inigo. Where are we here?
Yeah, so let's have a look at, we're just gone through turn 2, coming up to turn 3. It is quite a short circuit. It's only got really 6 real corners here, but it is a horsepower track, so a lot of short corners as well, so you're in and out the corners very quickly. Means you need good braking, good traction. This middle sector here, the only 2 left-handers on the track. They're the only corners that are a little bit long that you have to make sure you have good minimum speeds. But really much the rest of the track's all stop-start sort of stuff.
A little bit of trickery around there. Inigo Anton is one of the Filipino drivers who we saw in the Philippines edition round 1. He's actually going to drop out of a lap. Obviously, you stopped speaking, but he's carrying on here. What will have caused him to drop out there? Just trying to restart again?
Yes, perhaps trying to get some clear space. But let's have a look at the spotter's guide first before we come back to what the track's really like.
Indeed, the spotter's guide gives us who is racing and in what colours. And in Group A, Alif Hamilton in the yellow, Nakib in the blue, Sizwoyo in the black. That is a heavy top 3. Look out for Arjun Maini as well, the Indian who had a 3rd place in race 1 last week. He will be also in the blue. Sim Kwern, he made the move up from silver to gold last week, struggled a little bit. Debutants in Nicholas Stephen, James Russell is in there. Jaden Lowe, who's doing well in the silver edition, has got himself a spot in the gold as well. So 20 starters competing or entered, Alex, but 15 out on the circuit.
Yeah, now we're back on the circuit. You can see the drivers going down. I think that is obviously a Mercedes. A lot of drivers. That might be Jacques Sizwoyo actually, in the grey Mercedes. You can see the liveries down at the bottom. A lot of drivers liking these grey Mercedes.
So Bagus Farham, one of my favourites, because you know you'll get some kind of action there. He is in the white. Inigo Anton, we were on boarded. Debutant in Attire Mackenzie. Jason Tay is also out there as well. Sim K Wern, we've mentioned, and Macau's Le Sabino. That's a nice little highlight for us there, Jason. Bani Ismiaso, Rama Danindro, Nicholas Stephen, and Brody Steen are outsiders. There is Brody Steen just coming into the circuit. Leveke from Thailand, Yevon David from Sri Lanka, Jaden Lowe, who I like the racing style of Jaden Lowe, and James Russell from Malaysia completing the 20 out there. So practice is just about over, and for qualification we will get Alex once again in the circuit, and we'll also be joined by Amo Hazik in just a moment. But let's get qualification underway.
So now let's do a lap. We're watching Brody Steen now as he starts his lap, the Australian driver coming out of the last corner. Look at how long this straight is. It really is a massively long straight. Plenty of overtaking opportunities. If you have got DRS, you might want to use it down the start of the straight. Up to turn one. Oh, he's just had a moment. That's okay. Then go back to someone that might be fighting for pole position. Mohammed Naqib, he's also had a stop. Okay, Alif Hamilton then. I'm sure he's going to, with a short lap here, we normally get about 2 or 3 laps you can do. Now up to turn one, it's really super steep. You don't really see it there. That's strange. All these drivers resetting. Why are all these drivers resetting? That's interesting. Anyway, let's see if Naqib can get through turn one using all the curb into the apex and has a good exit. Now out of turn one, again you got this massive long straight. People be using DRS in between turn 1 and 2 because you can overtake through here. You see this long stretch. We'll go on board with him if we can and watch as he goes through up into turn 2. Oh, just missed him again. Now through turn 2. Again out of here. Look, he's purple through sector 1, so as quick as a ball through sector 1 at the moment. Now down this another long straight, but he goes steeply downhill to turn 3 to use all the curb on the entrance, try and open up the corner, uses the curb nicely out. Again, not medium sort of straight for the 2 left-handers, turn 4 and 5. This corners are a little bit tricky. You always have that front right corner very cold, and you can have lots of understeer as you go through here because it's the first left-hander you hit for quite a while. Now the second left-hander, or the curb on the exit and a bit more. He does use all that curb. Whoa, he had to reset that. He went over the use of the curb, invalidated the lap. So that means he will have to restart again. Let's then go back with Muhammad Alif then. He's on that same part of the track that Alif is on, and he's on fastest on sector 1, fastest on sector 2. Now coming down the last 2 corners, turns 5 and 6. Oh, you got to carry so much speed through here. Does carry the speed, bit late on the throttle, however. Now massive curb use here for turn 6, does it through here. Quite a quick lap time, but it's not the fastest so far as he goes over the finish line. What is that? That would be good enough for P2 I think, no, P10. He's all the way down there. Messy lap indeed. So Kalen Chin now, the young Singaporean Australian, 13 years old, is on pole position. He's starting his second lap, but he's only just starting the lap. Meanwhile, let's go back to Mohammed Naqib. He's actually fastest through sector 1. 24 hundredths up on Kalen Chin. This will be the lap he has to do it. He won't get another lap after this. So there's a lot of pressure on Naqib then. Now for turns 4 and 5. Massive corner 3. Yeah, understeer, but able to get on the throttle. So that's quite good. See how he turns in. Small brake to get the front turn. He ran out of track with the corner last lap, but he uses just the right amount of tarmac and curb there. Fastest again in sector 2. 3/10 up in sector 2, so looking very good indeed. Now to the penultimate corner. Oh, he's early on the power there. Looks very good. Last corner. Oh, he misses the apex. That's going to cost him a little bit of time as he comes across the finish line. Is that good enough for pole? He is right now going to go pole position. Mohammed Naqib, the Malaysian, goes for pole. Let's see. Kalen Chin's restarting his lap. He won't have enough time. Mohammed Alif, though. Oh, he's down 2/10 on sector 1 on Naqib. That's going to cost him quite a bit of lap time. Alif is running a little bit of ballast, so that's why he's not as quick as he usually is, but so is Mohammed Naqib. But Alif is obviously struggling. 2/10 down through sector 1. 6/10 down on sector 2. This is going to be a disastrous lap for Alif. A disastrous lap. The championship is not going to qualify where he usually qualifies. Let's see where this lap puts him. It's still not on the front 2 rows. That goes to Mohammed Nakib and Kalen Chin. Tobago's Farhun also had a good job there. He's in P3 right now. So good for him. Yeah, they're on the grid now. So let's... For some reason, we have lost them though.
Yeah, that's probably a bit of a game glitch in between the sessions, but that should probably sort itself out once the race starts. I don't know why, because when I'm looking at the timing screen right now, it just says 4-minute qualifying again. So something happening now. There's a bit of a slight issue. We'll probably get that sorted in the meantime.
Well, we might have to restart this if this is happening like this. Let's just try and see from Kalen's point of view, they are on the grid.
And he's looking left and right. In fact, the race is starting right now.
Yeah, but we've lost it from this end. Actually, I'm going to try and pause here and go out of the server and see if we can get back into the server. That might be the idea to do.
In fact, the race is underway right now. We're looking at Kenzie's view, so this is about as good as a POV we could get for now. As leading into the first corner is Jaka, Nakib in second, Farhan now for fourth, and Jason Tay fifth. So we can't get the view right now, but we are getting the racing underway right now behind the scenes, behind this wall of grey.
So look at that, Jaka Sosoya on pole still. Mohammed Nakib is second at the moment. We will see what happens as they go out of turn 2. Oh, Nakib challenging for the lead. Amo.
Yep, and looking at the screen here where we have on board with Kalen, he goes on the inside. Will he try to do it like Schumacher trying to do on Mika Hakkinen in 98? No, he couldn't. Naufal holds firm, and Naufal still leads this race, but Kalen moves up to second.
Yeah, so Kalen up to second. He'll be very pleased with that. He's not carrying any ballast for this weekend. Jaka Sosoyo is carrying a little bit. So is Mohammed Nakib. So this might be the chance for Kalen to try and get in front.
And somebody points as we got a live feed again.
Here we go. Here we go. Live feed again. So this must have been a problem with us, but we are back online.
Yeah, but we're not seeing as many cars as we should.
Yeah, they're going to populate as they go. This is quite cool. Look at them appearing. Jaka Sosoyo though in P2. We're watching a little bit further back. Now back to the front though. Mohammed Nakib is leading the race after a good start. He took Jaka Sosoyo on lap 1 and Kalen Chin followed him through. That's Kalen Chin now challenging for the lead. Goes around the outside of Mohammed Nakib and he's now in front. Great move by Kalen. Look at the line of cars. DRS is activated now. So if you can stay with the DRS zone of the car in front, you will be able to follow him through.
Yep, and the fact that the DRS here is as powerful as it would be on power tracks, as you said earlier, regarding the track being a power track. So anybody who's in the lead is practically a sitting duck at the moment if they are at the mercy of the DRS.
Nakib there looking though, shadowing Kalen Chin. We saw it in the last race at Silverstone, and of course round 1 at Nürburgring. The DRS is very strong and it's going to be strong this weekend. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4. It seems like 8 cars in a line. We got 70 minutes to go. It becomes a high-speed game of chess, ladies and gentlemen. This is like watching bicycle racing, where the slipstream is key. The DRS is strong, so you can't afford to lose the gap to the front, and it comes into a last lap sprint quite often. But you will see drivers try and break the slipstream, the DRS zone if they can. Look at Nakib now, looking to the outside. Kalen Chin easily makes a move quite early on. Oh, look, and now if they're scrapping, Sosoyo also follows him through. If Sosoyo and Kalen Chin start scrapping, it might allow Nakib to get a gap.
Someone goes on the background.
Who was that? That was
it could either be Brody Steen or Yavin David. It's Yavin David because he was driving in the same Mercedes that Nakib drives right now. So he might have got a bit squirrely coming up from the Remus hairpin. And he went offline. Luckily, he didn't spin, but that has compromised his race.
Yeah, that has indeed. But Nakib there, he's got a gap though. He's got DRS zone. Can he pull out the gap to Sosoyo? That is all about. He's 7/10 in front right now. Oh, this very good. Nakib maybe can break the slipstream. He's going to hope that Kalen Chin comes back at Sosoyo, and maybe they can fight so he can try and get the gap. But if the drivers behind him are smart, they will try and work together to try and pull the train back to race 1. This is not usual racecraft that we normally see in normal racing, guys. This is more like Tour de France style sort of driving. But look at that. Sosoyo is close enough. He's in the slipstream, so he will close the gap to race leader Nakib in the blue car.
Yeah, certainly, because the peloton style racing, or we can almost say it's Kirin racing, because they're in a group of pretty much the same cars. It's 5 Mercedes in the first 5 positions, so they're gonna have to work together, even though they're not part of the same team, to actually try and break away from the rest of the field, while at the same time not lose touch with Nakib.
Yeah, Nakib getting a good exit. Wow, look at 1, 2, 3, 4. 7 cars. Alif right at the back of this. Strangely enough, struggling a little bit for pace so far. I would have expected him to make some more progress in this. But I also have to say, Alif does have to serve national service in Singapore, so I know he has to rush back on Friday evening, so just to jump on the server in time.
And he was in 11th place at the start of the race, free in qualifying. So for him to move out to 7th is actually an achievement in itself. But can he actually keep up with the rest of the race when the ballast can actually become quite a big factor? We'll have to wait and see. But so far, he's part of the Super 7.
Yeah, he's biding his time. We saw on the highlights at the top of the show that Alif, even though he's carrying a lot of ballast, he always comes good as the running goes on. So you can never discount him. For sure, at the end of the race, he will factor. But at the moment, Nakib still leads. Susoyo, despite the DRS, was not able to make the overtake for the lead. He's only half a second off though, and look at that, Kalen Chin's right over the back of him, and a small gap to Tobagos Fan from Indonesia. We are now riding with Kalen Chin, braking for turn 1, all 3 of them nose to tail. Susoyo, a small sideways movement as he went through the turn 1. That means Kalen Chin's closing in all the time as they take the run up to turn 2. But look, Nakib without DRS is a sitting duck as they brake for turn 2.
And amazingly, he still held on to the lead despite that. And as coming through the Remus hairpin, Siswoyo just runs a bit wide. That gives Kelly an opportunity to go up the inside. He's being squeezed right now. He doesn't have enough space to overtake, but Nakib in front also provides the tow. It's going to be 3 wide coming into turn 5. Who's going to brake first? Kalen does brake first, and he has stayed in third position. Meanwhile, Siswoyo and Nakib hold around the outside.
Wow, that's fantastic. If we can go back to that onboard stuff, we can watch that side-by-side stuff. Look at this. This is from Kalen's angle on the right. This is a 20-second delay. He's looking at the left. He was looking about it. You can see both those cars. He was thinking, oh, we're going to go 3 wide into turn 3. But I think the clever thing this early in the race is to back out the move. There's no point getting into collision at this point. Still a long way to go.
Yep.
Wise, mature head on those young shoulders.
And definitely, look at that. He was chatting away with his team. Probably his radio engineer told him to back off, as we're back with Alif Hamilton, who actually moved out to 6. I saw it on the movie just now that Jason actually just moved out of the way. He just literally gave him. Don't know if he got a penalty or something, or it might have been team orders, considering the fact they're both part of the same organization. We'll have to see whether or not Jason had a penalty, but whatever. Alif's up to 6, and he's right behind the first 5 Mercedes.
Wow, look at that. Look how close we are. We could see Alif Hamilton in the lead. That's how much of a slipstream he's going to get. Susoyo just pulling away here. Oh, wow. Look, down the inside. Is that Tobagos?
Yes. Oh, my word. Kayla nearly loses it coming out into the runoff area.
No, it's
and
Ayman
he held
Hazik.
well.
Yeah, Ayman Hazik has gone from, I think, 10th or something up into P2.
And that was a gutsy move. He really had to brake late there to prevent himself from taking out the other drivers. Superb driving for everybody that they held their lines together. But now, with that, Siswoyo has actually gotten away. He's almost a second. Now he's a second ahead of the rest of the field. Will it be time for him to break away in this lap? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, this is Susoyo's time. He needs to try and win a race to get back in the championship hunt. And this is now his time to do it. He won both races in the group stages in Silverstone. But he really needs the points. Look, he's got the DRS open. He's moving that gap, going and extending that gap all the time. This is his chance. He's got out of DRS zone. Jaka Susoyo making a bid for the win. He has got the lead and he's out of DRS zone. And he's like a hare now. He's got to be perfect. He's got to try and get this next lap good to consolidate that lead. Right now we're running back with Tobagos. We're looking down the inside of Jason Tay.
And the fact that we're using a peloton reference again, he is the sprinter to get away from this. He'll have to make the brake beeline for it and win this race, unless everybody else who's still in the DRS zone, like Ayman Hazik here, same name and saying as me, will probably try to catch up before the other race. They all got DRS and he can't break away. Siswoyo, despite having DRS towards the end of the lap just now, still can break the DRS range from the rest of the drivers. This is not working his brake quite well.
I tell you what, Jaka must have made a mistake, Ammo, turn 1, because he had such a big lead. He went from 1 second lead to now having no lead at all. You can see the second place car all over the back of him. So he must have made a mistake in turn 1, and he'll be ruining that, because that was really a perfect opportunity to win this race.
And the fact that without the DRS as well, because he even he had one more use of DRS left at the end of the lap, he couldn't use it anymore by the time that he actually reached the first corner. So added that to the mistake that he might have made out of our cameras, that has proven detrimental to his breakaway.
Kalen Chindo's biding his time in P4. Wow, look how much curbs they're all using. Curbs in Austria are quite flat, so you can use them to this last two couple corners especially. Kalen Chindo, wow, nose to tail, it's all coming back together again. 10 minutes to go, Ammo. What is the strategy now? Do you think Ayman's not won in the ERGP yet as he goes down the inside?
There you go. Well, just as you said, that will Ayman will he hold it back? The answer is definitely no. He wants to make a breakaway himself, but he definitely has DRS now. Was it enough? I think it is. It's enough for now, but everyone else also has DRS, so it might still be playing into everybody else's hands. It might not be the right time to do a breakaway.
Wow, Kalen Chin down the inside there, just a little bit late on the DRS, and that's allowed Nakib to just slip ahead of him to consolidate to second position. Susoyo, though, at the front, he's still determined to try and get away. Look how hard he's pushing that car, and Alif, the championship leader, is now up to 4th.
Wow. What happened to Susoyo as well? He just dropped like a stone. He's now 5th. It's as if he got the balance instead of Alif, and Alif's up to 4th, so a brilliant recovery drive from a qualifying session that actually went pear-shaped for him. So now, he's actually going to challenge for the win here, if everything falls in line and everyone starts scrapping each other.
Wow, yeah, so apologies there. Susoyo's in front, but no, it's Ayman Hazik. This could be his first win in the ERGP. He's got the gap, 9/10 now. He's outside of DRS zone. Oh, look how hard he's pushing. He's all over the curb there. Can he make the gap now, Ammo?
I don't think so, because he's still within just a second ahead of Nakib in the DRS range. So whatever happens here, he is still going to be a sitting duck unless he drives his heart out in this lap or so to break away from the rest of the field.
We're riding on now. Alif Hamilton takes his name from obviously the more famous Formula 1 driver, but he's proven to uphold that name. He's our championship leader as he closes on the back of the top 3. The only BMW runner in the top 5 and doing a good job as well.
In fact, 2 BMWs and no Audi in sight, so whoever's an Audi supporter here, I feel sorry for you guys. Not your day today.
No, not your day today at the moment. There, talking about BMW, Audi supporters, Kaiwan, our AM champion from the first edition, looking at the back of these gaggle of cars. And further back, James Russell, he just took the Audi for this weekend. He says it's more consistent to drive. He doesn't think it's quite as quick as the Mercs or the BMWs, but definitely a more consistent car. And you can't miss it, can you? Lovely orange color. But back at the front now, Ayman Hazik. He's got second place, Nakib behind him, followed by Kalen Chin and Alif Hamilton and Susoyo bringing up the top 5.
And the Super 7 are still together even after all this time. Is testament to how good these drivers are in keeping it clean and keeping it consistent despite the gaggle of cars they're in. Right up to the front here. Now this is lap 10. Ayman Hazik under real pressure from Nakib, and the fact that Ayman is really good in this DTM cars, it's just that he hasn't shown that much pace in the first 2 runs. He's showing it here right now as Nakib goes around the outside, coming out the Dreamers curve. Will Nakib make it? Yes, he does. He does. The DRS proving very powerful here.
Yeah, Ayman defends the inside into turn 2. Kalen Chindo is going to try and go around the outside. Everyone's got their DRS opens now as they go down this last corner, not last corner, down to turn 3. Oh, they're lining up. Oh, Alif looks to the inside of Ayman, and he does do it nicely. Oh, does he stop in time? Contact with Kalen Chin, pushes him wide, but Alif in P3 now.
And the fact that Ayman just opened the door for him gave Alif the impetus to go into the inside and take that room away from him. So, 3rd place for Alif Hamilton, even with all that weight he's carrying, that is absolutely impressive. That is no words can other than impressive to describe how good he's driving right now.
Yeah, very impressive indeed. I think he has 12 kilos. I think only Rahman Dika has more weight. No, I think Susoyo's actually carrying a lot of weight this weekend because he had a good weekend last weekend as well. How the success ballast works is the top 10 runners who scored the most points from the previous rounds has to carry some ballast in the next round, and then it gets zeroed for the round after again. Whoa, into turn 1. Alif there looking good there in P3. He's all over the back of Kalen Chin. looking to make a move. We're riding with Susoyo right now in 4th position. The Indonesian has his DRS open, trying to close the gap to the top 3.
And he's still within that DRS range. He breaks it a bit late as Ayman comes in the inside with a cutback. Both have DRS and both have similar colored cars. Hold the rest of his car. They go into the back straight here, coming to turn 5. This is good action at the front.
Yeah, look at that side by side of turn 3. Who's going to give? Oh, Ayman's got the inside, and Ayman takes the move from Susoyo, the Indonesian.
And speaking of a guy making moves, Sim Kaiwan's up to 9th, and Ataya Kenzie, who was running in 5th at one point to start the race, he's dropped all the way back to 11th. So, debutant here, not having a good time of it.
Okay, back with the runners there at the very front. Mohammed Nakib leading. He has a small gap now. Not much of a gap though. 4/10 is nothing when you have DRS. And these cars behind him as they come across the line. Kalen Chin in position 2, the Australian Singaporean, followed by Muhammad Ali from the yellow BMW from Singapore.
And looking at Kalen's in the DRS again. This is going to be take 3, I think, because he's tried to take the lead. He tried to take the lead quite a few times already against Nakib to no avail. Nakib has defended brilliantly despite not having DRS, and how the DRS is powerful is a testament to how good as well Nakib has been driving in this championship. As Kalen now finally gets into the lead of the race. So, will he try to break away in the last 4 minutes of this race? We'll have to wait and see.
Alif Hamilton follows him through as well. Alif, good move there. Wow, considering he started all the way back in P9, now challenging for the lead. A typical surgical drive by the Singaporean.
And it's going to add up to more of his weight, but it's not like he cares. He wants to add more championship points to his lead that is looking quite handsome right now.
Yeah, it is indeed. 3.5 minutes to go. We will have about 2 laps after this lap. So we're getting to the pointy end. This is where it gets very serious. You can see there was a gaggle of 8 cars at the beginning of the race, nose to tail. Now it looks like there are 5 cars that have kind of dropped the others. But now Alif Hamilton is look all over the back of Kalen. Is he going to look down the inside of the penultimate corner? No, he decides not to. Probably a smart move. It's really hard to overtake there, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, on a bike it would be easy because we've seen 2 instances of last-minute overtakes in MotoGP between Andrea Dovizioso and Marc Marquez, where Dovi came out trumps twice. And on a bike it's easy. On a car, that is a tall order, and the fact that those serrated curves can easily puncture these tires also makes it even more so of a reason not to overtake there.
Wow, DRS is open. Kalen Chin has a small gap there, half a second, but look at them. DRS wide open by everyone. They're all looking down the inside. Oh, Nakib's looking the inside, but he doesn't do it. Alif covers the inside and goes and holds on to second position. Now, though, can Kalen Chin hold off these cars? This long straight DRS is open. Alif has a really good run. He's got to look down the inside. No, Kalen Chin is defending the inside. Nicely done. Oh, running wide. Down the outside, Susoyo on Ayman Hasik. What a great move all the way around the outside. Now has the inside for this next corner. But will Ayman try and hang on the outside? No, unable to do it. Understeers, and Jaka is through.
And the fact that the way that the drivers handle themselves there, you know that there's 3 minutes left to go, 2 minutes already left to go, and everything on the line here. They could have easily wiped each other out at that particular corner, like in actual DTM, where BMW drivers were taken up by Mercedes. But in this case, they held it together, and that's amazing. What was the Super 7 is not a fast 5.
Yeah. So, wow, they're so quick. They're going to cross the line with 1 minute 34 seconds to go. That means there's going to be 2 more laps. 2 more laps of this excellent racing that we are seeing right now. As they go through turn 1. Whoa, Alif is into position 1.
Wow, what a turnout for the books that is. If Alif actually is going to win this whole thing. Well, actually just the Group A race, but he'll be laughing all the way to the bank knowing that he's got vital points in the championship hunt. Ayman Hasik hits him! Is that Ayman Hasik or is that Siswoyo? It's Siswoyo that actually hits him. He got attacked from Kalen and he outbraked himself because of the momentum that he got from the nudge. That means that Alif Hamilton now leads. And it's a big gap.
It is a huge gap. This is so similar to the last race at Silverstone when we saw the contact between the cars in front, which allowed Alif in through the win. And look at that gap with only a lap to go after this lap. Alif's got 8 tenths. That's going to be so hard to bring down that gap.
And worst part is he also got DRS. We saw that just now coming into turn 3 at Schlossgold. He actually has the DRS, so he could actually pull away here in the last lap. This is going to play into his hands beautifully if he manages this well.
What a drive by the Singaporean. It's not over yet. There will be one more lap after this. But he's played it perfectly. And he survived contact from Susoyo. And now leads the race as they go to the last corner. There's one more lap after this. Susoyo, I think, is the only one that can challenge Alif at this point. But now they both 2 cars behind. They have got DRS. And there's one more lap. This is the last lap of the race. Ammo.
Look, I'm not going to call it because this is going to go any which way between at least 3 drivers now. Between Alif, Suswoyo, and Nakib. 3 different drivers and 3 different nationalities. Although they're driving in pretty much similar cars, which is just 2 Mercedes and 1 Audi. It could go any which way between any of these 3.
Well, Alif got a really good exit out of turn 2. Really good exit. That's got into race 1. Look at that, 6/10. What a great turn 2. He needed to be perfect with the cars behind him having DRS, and he has got it perfectly. Oh, that's it.
He's winning this because look at that. They're squabbling. Nakib and Siswoyo are doing something that is not going to help their cause whatsoever. They are squabbling by each other, and it's only 1 sector left after this to actually claw back any sort of advantage that they're losing to Alif Hamilton. And unfortunately, Alif's got his in the bag. He has driven an absolutely brilliant race to fight his way from 11 all the way to the front.
Wow, that's why he's a championship leader. That's why he's a reigning first edition champion as well. And he's doing it really good. Oh, look at Susoyo though. He's not giving up. He's pushing. Whoa, he's...
Oh! Nakib's into the wall! Oh my word, we have to cut back to the leaders as they come into the line. But what happened to Nakib there as Hamilton wins just at the death from Siswoyo?
Whew, what a great race by Hamilton. What a great... Nakib making a mistake on the final corner, drops down to position 7. Kalen Chin takes 3rd, ahead of Ayman Hazik in 4th, and Jason Tay in 5th.
Oh man, look at that sad state of what's happened to Nakib's car. Luckily he didn't wipe the Paris completely, otherwise he would have been definitely out on the spot. And I did mention earlier, the serrated curves here hurt the tires quite a lot, and he just did what exactly that he shouldn't have done. Used a bit too much curb on the last lap, and unfortunately, he has hurt his championship chances. Oh wow, yes. What a race. What an absolute peach of a race.
And guess what? We got another one after this, and it's a reverse grid race as well.
Oh boy. And look at the rest of the field. After Nakib, Inigo Anton, a quiet 8th, Steen 9th, 10th is Kenzie, and surprisingly Kai Wen, who was actually up to 9th at one point, dropped back to 11th. So a really close battle between those drivers at the tail end of the top 10, with James Russell in 12th, Yevon David, Ismiarso, Buddy Ismiarso, one of the debutants, and Nicholas Steven, who's also a debutant, out after the first few laps. So I think it might have been disqualification there, Alex.
Amazing incident points. That was really early though to get disconnected. There's confirmation of the results. Nakib with the fastest lap of the race to 23.9, so he'll get 2 points for that. But the big winner, Muhammad Ali, with a great win from position 11 on the grid, followed home by the Indonesian Jaka Susoyo, Kalen Chin in 3rd, Ayman Hazik in 4th, Jason Tay 5th, Tobagus Farhan in 6th.
And wow, Ali is now laughing all the way to the bank here.
Yeah, what a great result for him, eh, Amo? So, okay, now we're into race 2. And it's a sunset race. You can see the shadows are falling. We are here at the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, Austria. One of the most beautiful, picturesque circuits I've ever been to. Very tricky track to drive. All about horsepower, all about slipstream. Really need good racecraft. Look, there's the track there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 corners. Oh, 8 corners, shall we say, at this track. We always have great racing here, don't we, Amo?
Yep, for sure. Especially with MotoGP bikes, and even in F1, we had really close races in the past. Especially with the old Oostenrijk ring with Elio De Angelis beating Keke Rosberg to the line. Okay, red lights are there. About to go off. We got Steven on pole, followed by Ismailso in 2nd. Yevon David in 3rd. Whoa, Ismailso from Indonesia has a great start, and he takes the lead into turn 1. Yevon David, though, looks on the inside, but just doesn't make it. We're on board with Kaiwa in an Audi. Has a good run out of turn 1. Got James Russell on the right, and Steven on the left. But Kaiwa into position 3. Oh, it nearly gets taken out there. This is almost NASCAR style. They're drafting each other, and this is only the first lap. We come into the Remus hairpin. Who's gonna blink first? Well, nobody did. Everyone just went in like a swarm of bees into a honeycomb.
David, though, he's managed to overtake the lead into position T2, and he's pulled out a small gap. Kaiwan in the Audi. Whoa, small mistake by the Indonesian in P2. Oh, I thought Kaiwan was going to have a look, but decided to pull out of it.
Oh, he's smart thinking there. He's also a really decent racer and has good racecraft, but unfortunately, he's had a bit of consistency problems, especially we saw just now in race 1. He could have been up there in the top 10, but dropped back to 11 at the end. So he'll be looking to try to hold pace and try to catch up to leaders as quickly as possible.
David, though, pulling out a bit of a gap there. He's having an excellent first lap. Half a second up on second position. Bani Ismailso, new for the championship. Just joined us last race. Whoa! All over the curb there. Maybe a bit too much curb. That would have cost him some time. Not able to get on the throttle as aggressively. And David pulls out another small gap. Now we're onto lap 2 and DRS is activated. So we're going to get a gaggle of cars coming to the front. Kaiwan in third. Mohamed Nakib, surprisingly enough, up to P4. He's had a good first lap too.
Yeah, the fact that he started way further up than the other drivers would be because they were finishing first and second. He was in 7th, so he was at the midpoint of the pack and he had easy access to the front of the guys in front of the field. So, Nakib moving up here is good, doing his championship well, but he will try to claim points that he lost from that first race.
Yeah, he'll be quite disappointed. He's had the pace to win a couple of times now, but the DRS has forwarded him a couple of times. So yeah, he'll want to try and win race 2. He is in the hunt though. He's all over the back of Kaiwan as they go through turns 3. Alif though, winner of race 1, down in position 12. Still a lot more to do as he goes through position turn 4 and 5.
And amazingly, just now Jacka also finished second and he's now up to 9th, while the rest of the top 7 that were in the first race behind Alif, like Ayman Haziq, Jason Tay and Tubagus Farhan, they're struggling right now. They're not making inroads with the rest of the top 10.
David though holds out at the front though. Ismailso has good exit on the last corner. He will have DRS. 1, 2, 3, 7 cars again with a big gap to position 8, Kenzie. Wow, these 7 look like they're going to get away. Looks like the field is split into 2. The peloton is split into 2. Kalen Chin though, he's at the back of this peloton though. He's got a chance of winning still.
Yeah, these are the sprinters and the rest of it is just the peloton waiting to catch up again. But yeah, this is the Super 7 again. So if this circuit somehow favors cars in a gaggle of 7, as we at least now have all 3 manufacturers together in this particular race, with Kaiwan just looking out there.
Ismailso got a bit sideways the exit turn 2. His contact with Nakib. It's allowed, what's this, Anton to get a run on both of them. And Anton, Inigo Anton from Philippines, up to P2. Town, sliding through. Watch, look how late these cars are braking. Just managing to get through millimeters from each other. Driving of the highest quality.
Yep. And the fact that we are used to seeing proper touring car racing where there's much slower speeds and barging each other is a thing. Well, these guys are showing it that they're doing in Formula 1 style aero as Kalen goes off. I think that was Kalen off into the gravel there for a bit. He manages to recover it. Yeah, so going back to what I was saying, these are like Formula 1 cars, but they have bodies of touring cars. So we are seeing the best of both worlds here.
Yeah, let's just watch Kalen Chin. He's on board here on the right. That incident just now, he was going through to, oh look, he had that small contact with the car, the white car on the inside. I think that was Brody Steen, just pushed him off the track. Look at his face, grimacing there, lost all those positions he just gained, but he's still at the back of this train.
Yep, and the fact that he also has DRS still, amazingly, so he hasn't lost touch in terms of that, but in terms of catching up with the rest of the Super 7, but it has hurt his momentum in trying to get a win. As we now go back to the battle at the front, Anton now takes the lead around the outside from Nakib. Yevon Davis being nicked left, right and center as Steen tries to go around the outside. Does he make it? Yes, he does. He goes up to 3rd. Yevon Davis loses 3 positions in the space of just 2 corners.
Anton now at the front, pulling out a small gap, half a second there. Nakib in P2 though, hunting the leader. We've seen him do that at the back of this bunch of cars. Kalen Chin just losing a little bit of touch. That small mistake. He's out of DRS zones at the moment. But I tell you what, Haziq and Alif are right behind him. If they can close the gap, maybe the 3 of them can work together to close the gap up to the top 6.
Oh, someone went to the inside. That's Mercedes. And it's Ismiarso. So he's also made a mistake as Kalen Chin. Kalen now goes around the outside here. We're coming out to the ring curve. Who's gonna blink first? They both don't have DRS, surprisingly, as we go into the ring curve. Kalen goes around the outside. Will he make it? Yes, he can. That is a brave move. No car will overtake there.
And now we got the bunch of cars all closing in on them. So this peloton is split into a gap of 5 cars at the front, and what is that? 7 cars right behind them with a small gap. And
Whoa!
Nakib goes around the outside. Great move on Anton, and he's got.
Oh,
the
someone
move done.
spins, and he's hit into the. He's hit into the rest of the field. I think that was one of the Mercedes of either Ayman Hazik or it could be Inigo Anton. It's Anton. So Anton loses it in turn 1 and has cost him dear.
Yeah, oh no, shame for the Filipino driver. He's all the way at the back now. But look at the front now. Nakib, though, he's got a gap, but Steen has followed him through. Brody Steen. So he's managed to, both of them have got a good gap to position 3. So these two are definitely going to, if they've got the pace, can they stay out in front, Ammo?
I think they can, because 2 seconds now is between Steen and Kai Wen. So right now, the best of the rest will have to fight for 3rd position. These two, they're within DRS zone, DRS range. They will get away. But who's going to win? It's up to whoever can manage to get better.
I'll tell you what, Steen is, he's just within DRS zone at the moment. He's got to get across the finish line within DRS zone so he can close the gap to Nakib. Any small mistake as he goes through this last corner, and Nakib will be through and probably breaking that gap as he go down the start finish line. Brody Steen, he's still got a bit of DRS. Is he close enough for the rest? Yes, DRS, he's within the zone, within the time, and he uses DRS to close the gap to Nakib as they go through turn 1.
Yep, and just as I said, these two will now break away. Look at that, Kai Wen. Despite being close at the end of the last lap, he does have DRS in this one. So, as Kalen now moves out to 3rd, so Kalen recovered well, and Kai Wen's now the sitting duck here in this train. As, oh, Steen goes around the outside. He tried to, around Nakib, but he couldn't make it there. And now Nakib will still stay in 1st place for this particular point in time.
Now coming down to turn 3, steeply downhill. Oh, Steen thinks about it but decides not to have a go. Further back, Kalen Chin in 3rd position. Guess who's up to 4th? Alif Hamilton's battling with Kai Wen for 4th position. Kai Wen has got the inside for the next left-hander. Whoa, he decides to back out of it. Alif, oh no, he's still there. He's on the inside. The small contact. Alif made that move by braking super late and leaving a lot of space at the apex, able to go around the outside of the Malaysian.
And he had full trust in Kai Wen to not wipe him out, so that's another thing that they take into account. It's both speed and racecraft and also trust within each other. So everyone now really has to trust each other so that they don't take each other out. Anyway, we're back here with Nakib looking back from Steen, and he held off Steen for a single lap. That's, like, once again, I'm not sure how he does it, because normally anyone who has who's within DRS range from the guy in front will definitely be overtaken by him. So Nakib to actually hold off Steen for 1 whole lap now 2 is testament to how well he can actually break that toe. As we now look into the battle for P3 between the guys who actually battle for the race win in P1. Kalen in 3rd, Alif in 4th. Kalen does have DRS and Alif does, but again, he just can't be able to make it for this particular lap.
We're breaking down turn 3. Alif is very close. He's all over the back of Kalen. 10 minutes to go. Still a long way to go in this race.
Wow, 10 minutes? It just goes, it feels like forever now, to be honest. I thought we've been watching a 1-hour race or something, but
Yeah.
we have a lot of things that's happening in between. It's testament to how great the racing in these cars are.
There's a thing about ERGP with watching it on the DRS zones. It's always exciting racing. We're seeing it just seems it's action-packed from start to finish. Kalen Chin now though, covering the inside, looking good as he goes through the last corner. He does not have the DRS though. And I tell you what, Alif does right behind him. Whoa! Small movement, the blue car, Yevan David gets it a little bit sideways that last corner. Alif though looks to the inside, takes the move nicely. Oh, that's really early in the lap.
But, however, he does have DRS, so he can actually still pull away from Kalen. So he's timed this to perfection, I think.
Yeah, this is how we want to break the gap to Kalen. Kalen's got to try and stay with Alif despite not having DRS, because if Alif does pull that gap, I can just see Kalen falling back after that.
Yeah, because unfortunately, the fact that we saw in the first race just now, whoever doesn't have the DRS can drop at max 2 to 3, even 4 positions if they really get swamped by everybody. Wow, wait. And we still have 9 minutes to go. Can't imagine what's gonna happen. Will we have a last minute move from someone on the line like what Alif held off Jaka? We'll have to wait and see. We're having a battle that's brewing pretty much similar to what happened in the first race, but this time with two completely different characters in the form of Nakib and Brody Steen.
Yeah, Nakib there, half a second back. Steen just able to stay with the leader at the moment, but maybe not, doesn't quite have the pace to use the DRS to make an overtake. He's always just there, just hanging about, not being able to drop. The DRS is obviously very strong here, it's worth at least a second a lap. Oh, but Nakib there has a small moment out of the last corner that's going to allow Steen to close the gap.
He'll probably have the back of his mind that particular incident at the last lap in the first race. Nakib would not want to repeat the same mistake as, look at that, that was Steen, fishtailing coming out of the first corner. He was on the power too soon and he had the DRS open, so that would keep him awake as well to not make that same mistake. He doesn't want to do it again and again. That will kill his tires and it will kill any chance of trying to take the win here in the second race.
Ooh, Steen though, he's got the DRS, has a small woogie on the outside again. He's using it's not close enough, is he, Ammo? Do you think?
No, not this time. Well, actually he might be, but no, he thinks twice about it and he doesn't want to make the move this soon, because again, it's like if you know about Champ Car racing where they had a hand-foot device behind the wing, whoever's leading is not going to get the advantage of the slipstream. The guy behind will power their way through to the lead, and Brody's probably trying to think that he might not have it now, but he will try to close the gap as close as possible towards the end of the race and maybe get him at the line.
Nakib though, he's keeping it very clean, he's doing all he can. If he can just stay in front for a few more laps, 7.5 minutes to go, still plenty of time. But I tell you what, Hamilton and Kalen Chin are closing the gap to these top two. Kalen Chin, same thing, hanging onto Alif's coattails, but maybe not having the pace to try and take third place.
Nope, not this time, and the fact that he's also thinking the way a racer would think. As you can see, he brakes slightly early because he doesn't want to engage with Alif and they will lose time to the leader. So less than 7 minutes left to go, and they're not that far away from Steen and Nakib. So right now, I think they're working together to not actually lose ground on the two of them.
Yeah, would that be the smart thing? Work together, use the DRS, overtake each other, but don't start squabbling, because that will cost you time. Further back, Ayman Hazik and Jaka Susoyo battling for 5th position, but look who's behind Susoyo, Yevan David, also having to look to try and go around the outside, I think, of Susoyo into turn 3, but he does not have DRS, so is unable to make the move. Jason Tay in the Shell BMW right behind him too.
And also the fact that Ayman Hazik and Jaka are both teammates in the real team that called Vortex Safe Sport, so they are also working together here to not screw up each other's race, per se. Right now they're just too far away from Kalen, who's in 4th, so whatever they're doing right now, they have to actually do it very fast, otherwise the best they can settle for is 5th right now.
Nakib there, still at the front, still has that half a second gap. You know, like we talked about earlier, Brody Steen just hanging on in there, but not quite having the pace to make use of that DRS to overtake for the lead. Or is the strategy out? Is he perhaps waiting for later in the race when he knows that he needs to make the move on the last couple laps?
You're right, Alex. I think it's the latter, because you can see that he comes close, but then he backs off. He just brakes slightly earlier than he should to actually not engage with Nakib. So he doesn't want to lose time to him, but at the same time, he doesn't want to let the people behind, like in this case Kalen, who's now up to 3rd, gain on them. So a bit of gamesmanship between the two packs here, with one driver not wanting to batter the other, but at the same time, they don't want to actually lose ground on either of them.
Looking back now, Kalen Chin in 3rd position, looking back at Alif Hamilton in the yellow BMW. He has got the DRS, Kalen has. Oh, no. Alif did not get the exit out of turn 3 that he wanted to, but he's still there, still right there. Alif does a very late turn in for this left-hander, seems to make it work, and he's just hunting the Australian down in third position, isn't he?
Yep, again, the way that you're describing the way that Alif drives is actually he's trying to manipulate the virtual weight per se. It's not like a lead ballast that they put in actual touring cars where they want to hinder the driver with success ballast. He's actually trying to make the weight go a bit more to the rear per se so that he could turn in better and exit better. So again, this is the way that he drives, and it actually works to actually manipulate this weight.
Both cars have DRS. Brody Steen in second position. Kalen Chin also just using up the last of his DRS across the line. He's got a small gap to Alif Hamilton, 7/10. Might be enough to survive for one more lap, I reckon, but you just think it's a matter of time before Alif makes a move. Look at him closing in on Kalen as they go up to turn 2, steep up turn 2 before this right-hander. Brody Steen, though, again, consistently just half a second behind race leader Mohamed Nakib from Malaysia. Alif Hamilton, though, look at him, he's looking to the inside to come down to turn 3. Will he try and outbrake the Australian? Yes, he does.
Oh, he gets it. Yeah, but well, they're two battling each other. They're not following whatever I was mentioning earlier, but to their detriment, they are to their credit, they are still actually keeping up with Steen and Nakib. But with only 3.5 minutes, is that Ali spinning? Oh, he looked like he spin, but it's actually just the way he swings the car coming to turn 4. I thought he was actually spinning for a second, but either way, they are not losing that much time, but they're not getting that much time either on the guys in first and second. So whatever gamesmanship they're trying to do, it's not working out at the moment.
Yeah, it's like Kalen just all over the back. Let's see how much time we got. Just under 3 minutes to go. One lap is 1:25. Oof, will there be another time for 2 more laps, or is this the last lap? I think there'll be 2 more laps to go still.
Yep.
2-1 Kalen there. So this is where the strategy comes into play, because if the DRS is strong, you can try and leave it to the last lap of the race to overtake. But Brody, I'm not sure, Ammo. I'm not sure if he has the pace. I don't think he's biding his time. I think he's just hanging in on there. Look, Kalen Chindil uses the DRS to perfect response. Slots into third position ahead of Alif. Gets good exit out of turn 2. And he has the DRS again. And he just pulls away from the yellow BMW.
Again, they're swapping positions. They're not actually getting out in front. So they're not teammates by any chance, of course. But they're not teammates. But they are probably just saying together, no, after you, no, after you. Let's see who can actually catch up, and unfortunately, neither of them could.
But that's the right way. They just keep overtaking each other and doing it cleanly. Maybe they can use the DRS to move up to the battle for the win between Nakib and Steen.
But unfortunately, that particular front two, Nakib and Steen, they're not actually battling each other. So what they're doing, in essence, is actually still pulling away, even so slightly, despite either one of them, well, actually, Steen has DRS, but the guys in front, Steen nearly loses it. The guys in front are just pulling away slightly, even though that only one of them has DRS.
Wow, they've just crossed the finish line with time. I think there will be 1 more lap, 2 more laps after this. So he just crossed the finish line. If he'd just been a second slower, this would be the last lap. Because he crossed the line with just enough time, there are 2 more laps, including this one, to go.
And the fact that Naki might have been fully focused on driving, forgetting the fact that he's actually in the race lead, he can control the pace, but he also might have been not looking at the clock, seeing that there's only a minute 24 left to go, and he is doing minute 24s. He is one of the fastest drivers on the track in terms of fastest laps so far. But he's actually now having to deal with Steen for 1 more lap, and he probably wouldn't want to see him in the mirrors again after this.
I'll tell you who is quick. Jacques Osorio in position 5. He's got the fastest lap of the race. Small gap. He seems to have got in front of Ayman and pulled a small gap. And more importantly, is he within DRS range of Alif Hamilton? Look, he's trying so hard. If he can just close that gap a bit more, he can join that fight for third position. You can visibly see it just out of reach. As for a driver's point of view, how it's so taunting to see that gap just a little bit closer.
Yep, it's like low-hanging fruit. It's literally there for the taking. But Alif goes at the inside of Kalen and he pushes him a bit wide. Again, Kalen actually left the door open a bit, I think, or he defends. But whatever, Alif actually just went for a gutsy move. It's actually the last lap. That was the last lap, and Nakib actually crossed the line to perfection. So.
What a race win from Nakib. Redeems himself after a tricky race 1. Steen in second, Ali third, Kalen Chin fourth. Susoyo 5th. And look, there's Kalen Chin's point of view. Oh, he knows he just got pipped to the line by Alif. We thought there was one more lap to go. It wasn't to be. Kalen just got mugged on that penultimate corner, didn't he?
Yep. And the fact that Nakib actually timed that to perfection, either is by incident or it was fully intentional. But whatever it is, he has timed it well. And Steen might have thought that he had one more lap, but unfortunately, not this time. He was close, but no cigar. And Alif Hamilton has scored himself quite a good number of points in the championship. Winner race 1 and third in race 2. And I will use this analogy again. He's laughing all the way to the bank. He has gotten the most amount of points he could from this run and increased his championship lead. But not the final, yeah, of course. We're only in the group races. But so far, so good for Alif.
So far, so good indeed. So that is, let's see, we got that's the end of race 2. Let's just get the confirmation of the results, and then we will start to turn our attention to Group B, which is coming up in just a few minutes' time. They're watching the race winner, Malaysian Mohamed Nakib. He wins from Brody Steen. Brody Steen had a good race there. I think he'll be quite satisfied with position 2, although I'm sure he'd have liked to try to improve that by 1 to have got the win.
Yep. And as the cars move into the pits, not sure why we're not getting a results screen at the moment, because everybody has finished the race. In fact, even guys like Tubakus Nafa, who's a lap behind, don't know what happened there in the last lap. And Bunny Ismiaso, who's out of this race, I think, because he's 7 laps behind. So, yeah. We get to look at the results. Okay, now there we go. Thank you, whoever was directing that just now. So then Nakib wins the race by just 4/10 at the end of the race. And he tucked it well, as we see the cars now behaving erratically in the pits. Steen second, Alif Hamilton third, who has taken the best amount of points in this particular group race. 4th is Kalen, 5th Jaka, 6th is his teammate Ayman Isaac, 7th Jason Tate, 8th for Sing Kai Wen, an improvement from the first race, 9th Evan David, and 10th for Taya Kenzie, who finishes 10th in both races.
Okay, so 2 very entertaining races there, Ammo. Great fun indeed. We now turn our attentions to Group B. Group B are in the server at the moment. Let's just have a quick highlights. No, we don't really have time for a highlights reel. We'll look at the spotter class. Let's look at the spotters, and you can see what the liveries are for Group B. Maybe take us through the liveries here, Ammo.
Alright. So the fastest qualifier for this particular group is Josh Perwin, who's driving with the number 22 pink Mercedes. Pink Mercedes is the right way to describe it now, because Racing Point had a pink Mercedes as well. Yeah, we lost the rest of the drivers. We lost the rest.
Oh, it's okay. So we can see them. Anyway, the drivers there are obviously Sanjay there, new drivers, a couple of new drivers from India. Good to see them there with us as well. And Presley Martana from Indonesia, Dominic Ang, Akila Chandra, lots of new drivers to enjoy.
And yep, one driver in particular, of course, Presley Martano, a Formula 4 driver, who actually took part in the race last time, his debut in sim racing. Really good driver, and he has mixed it with the best of them in this particular championship. So, yeah, looking forward to see how he can perform in this particular round.
Yeah, it will be very interesting indeed. So let's see. We can get the server coming back up now, and we'll see some cars on track in a while. We are finished with Group A. Now coming to Group B, and let's just have a quick look at some of the drivers that are there in the top 5. Quick reminder: we just seen Alif Hamilton win race 1, and Nakib, who's to his left, to our right, won race 2. We're now watching Josh Perwin, who is second in the championship, the Australian on the left, our left of Alif Hamilton, and of course Andika Rama on the far left, the Indonesian. He'll be fighting for the race wins too.
Yep.
Okay, so we're back with practice. 4 minutes to go. Still left to go in this practice session. Let's see who's quickest at the moment. Dylan Tan is quickest at the moment with a very quick lap time, actually. Dylan Tan, young driver from Singapore. I think he's only 12. Very young driver. We've got a lot of nice young karters joining our championship, who are karting on their way, trying to get to Formula 1 in the region. and it's good to see them there. Yeah, Van David was there. He's got and his brother as well. So yeah, lots of drivers out there. Arwin Taruna as well. Let's have a look at Arwin Taruna. Very quick Indonesian driver as he goes to the pit lane. Let's also have a look at Josh Perwin. Josh Perwin, let's talk a bit about him, Ammo. We know how quick he is. He's one of these world-class sim drivers from the region. He won the McLaren Shadow Project, Formula 1 project last year. I'd be very interested to see whether he can win, because he's not won a final. He's actually not won an ERGP race since round 1 of the first edition.
Yeah, he's been a bit unlucky at times, especially the fact that he has had a few disconnections that hurt his championship chances. He could have easily won it, or at least challenged closely to Alif Hamilton in that first season. So yeah, he'll be looking to make amends on that and try to mount a really serious championship hunt in this DTM championship.
I think he's only carrying 4 kilos of ballast as well, so he looks in pretty good shape. Obviously, Andika Rama, Andika Rama will be carrying a lot of weight. There he is sitting in the pit lane as we go back to Josh. So all that extra weight for Andika will make it really hard for him to do well, because Andika had the best points from round 2.
Yep.
And here we are, see some of the liveries as you watch the cars go around. Perwin in the purple, Andika in the white. Miko Nasi is also out there, and Ayman Hakim. The pink Mercedes is very popular, isn't it, Amo?
Oh yes, because the fact that it has ties to the Racing Point team as well in Formula 1. So yeah, it's a very striking livery. It's almost like the pink pig for Porsche as we see the rest of the drivers go by. And also we have a debutant in Sai Sanjay, who's also incidentally in the pink pink Mercedes. So again, a lot of drivers are choosing that one. Mitchell Chia, a local TCR driver who's raced actually incidentally also in the Red Bull ring when he was doing ADAC TCR last year. So he'll know this track very well.
That is so very true. Let's talk about Mitchell Chia, because he actually in TCR Germany, he finished second here. A really good result. I think the only driver from Asia to have done so well in TCR Germany. So good to see him out there. We know he likes this track. He's one of the real life drivers. Had some good results on occasion, but also been a little bit up and down.
Yeah, and especially the fact that from last year as well, last season where he was doing a bit of GT3s, a bit of a baptism of fire, shall we say. He didn't really get to grips with the game at that time. But he looks better now. In fact, we are seeing him in 6 in the practice session. He'll be looking to gain as many points as possible so that he could qualify for the final. But definitely one of his favorite tracks. He performed well last year in ADAC TCR. He will be looking to go even better here in DTM.
Were you one of the drivers he took out in the first edition?
No. I hope not. I wouldn't want to be on his bad side, especially the fact that he's quite a very nice chap as well, so I don't want to get on his bad side.
Okay, well let's follow Miko Nasi here for a lap then. He's fastest of all at the moment, down at 23.7, which is really quick. Whoa, carries so much speed across the apex there, turn 1. Nice and early on the power. Ammo, what was that to you? I think that looked pretty much perfect.
Oh. Wow.
And then he decides to stop.
Yes,
so as the drivers prepare for the race, qualifying, they go and do this. Sometimes they do heavy fuel loads and try and see how the tire wear is. Sometimes they do qualifying runs, and they often go back into the pits as they get ready. I think most of the drivers have already done their preparation now. They have done, these drivers at this level, they practice a lot, don't they, Ammo? What sort of practice will they do leading up to the race weekend?
Well, apart from doing the actual time trials, which they can actually simulate qualifying, as you said earlier, they are practicing the long runs, especially the fact that there's 2 times tire wear and 2 times fuel wear. So they're gonna have to judge it well, especially for the long race. And they probably even had at the back of their minds to qualify to practice for the final race, which is the 40-minute one. So every single possible run they could have done, they have done it in this week leading up to the race.
Sohail Shah from India, new with us, going faster this lap. New to race room, new to this championship, but it's great to see him here with us for round 3.
And the amount of gold drivers that are missing for this particular round, we're lucky to have them paired up by some of the silver drivers, as we saw, like Sim Kai Wen, who was promoted.
Okay, now we're into qualifying. Let's run with one of the favourites, I think, for pole position, Josh Perwin. Josh here now, as he comes around the last corner, gets a good exit down the start, finish straight. Looks like he's got a good run down here. You also want to start the lap with a good exit out of the last corner down to turn 1. See how late he's going to break. Oh, he lifts off, decides to do it again.
Every single guy that we've seen so far have actually done that. In fact, even in the first qualifying session, we had seen a few drivers come in and out. They start a lap and then they escape back to the pits. Probably because that they could afford to do so. It's such a short lap here, the Red Bull Ring. They could afford to lose 1 or 2 minutes to perfect whatever they have to perfect before they start their laps.
Okay, let's see if he gets through turn 1. Uses all the curb. Looks like he carries nice speed across the apex. I think he got on the power early. Let's just say he did. As he now goes down this long drag up to turn 2, steeply uphill. You don't realize how steep it is until you actually visit the track itself. I see. Carries the speed across the apex. Sounds just about right. Purple sector 1, 19.6. That's a good sector 1 by the Australian. This has certainly looked like it's going to be a good fight for pole position. As he now breaks to turn 3, Ammo.
Yep, coming into the Schlossgård corner, turn 3. Brakes nicely and exit, using a bit of the AstroTurf on the outside. Luckily he didn't spin there. But so far looking so good as he comes into the Roush curve. Again, just not using that curve as much as some of the other drivers have done so far. But that didn't prove detrimental to him as he now goes purple in sector 2. Coming into the final sector now, through the Wolf curve, up to turn 6, underneath the advertising holdings here, coming to the Rin curve. This is where Daniel Kvyat went off in 2017, I think, where his wheel failed. We saw Nakib just now going off there in DTM, in the first race. Luckily, he didn't have it in the second. Here we go, Josh now coming to the last corner. He was behind by 5 thousandths, up by 4 tenths in the second sector. Will be pole in the coming around the final sector. Yes, it is. And he went a little bit slower by a tenth coming into the last sector, but nonetheless, it's pole. No, Andika goes on to pole position.
Wow, Andika Rama with 15 kilos of ballast. That's a really good lap. Maybe we were wrong to discount him. 15 kilos is, that's going to cost you a couple tenths at least around Red Bull Ring. But he's such an experienced driver. He won both his group races in Silverstone, finished 3rd in the final. Very, very experienced driver. Teammates with Alif Hamilton. Let's see if he can improve on that. He comes out of turn 1. He'll have one more chance to set another lap time. See if he can improve his lap time to try and get pole position. Comes up to turn 2. Does he go purple? Yes, he does. A 19.5 as he goes through sector 1. Gets a good exit out turn 2. I'm just going to go back to Josh Perwin here as he starts his lap, because this is the man that really needs to get pole position. He needs...
Oh! Commentator's curse at its finest. But I think he has enough time to actually do one more lap.
Yes, he does. He wants pole position. He made a mistake there. That's how much he's pushing. But let's go back on Dika Rama. He's a 10th up after sector 1. Let's see if he can find a bit more time. Sector 2 is coming up very soon. Oh, he's lost a bit of time, but it's not that much time. He can still extend his gap to pole position if he can nail these next 2 corners, the last 2 corners on the track. This will be his last chance to try and extend pole position, because there'll be some faster cars coming up for sure. Through this penultimate corner, one more corner to go. Ooh, doesn't quite take as much curb. Runs a bit wide.
And he lifted off the throttle there before he got on, so he might
That's
have lost a bit of
time.
Is it enough? Oh, it's enough! Somehow.
Oh, he extends the gap. Well done. Let's go back with our win Taruna, though. He's got a very good sector.
Oh!
Spins. That's it. His chance is done as well. Let's go back to Josh Perwin. See. Oh, he's 3.
No, that's it. That's enough. That's it.
Enough.
That's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote. That's it. Wow. I tell you what, though. Martano does a good job, though. He's up to P4. But that's it. Championship done. Nico Nasi goes a bit quicker. Not just Taruna and not just Martano off the second row.
Whatever the game did in the last minute or so, I just can't believe it. Every single driver who was in the top 3 there, who could have improved that time, they couldn't. They just had that problem in the last 2 corners. Unbelievable. So, despite all of that, it's only the qualifying session that we had so much drama. But here we go. Rama on pole by 200s. In fact, 300, sorry. 300s. Ahead of Josh Perwin, Miko Nasi 3rd, Arwin Taruna 4th, and Presi Martano, the Formula 4 driver, in 5th. And that is a really, really interesting looking top 5. So
There's Korkil joining Amo Hazik at the Red Bull Ring for Group B Gold Class. We really have had drama in Group A where Alif Hamilton has shown the consistency is the key. Back-to-back podiums for him. Andika Rama Amo, he won back-to-back races last week around this Red Bull Ring. Is he good enough to do it once again?
I'm not going to stretch my neck out here and say he would, but looking at how good he was in qualifying, despite with the heavier weight, he might actually do it. He might actually really going to follow what Alif Hamilton did and try to get podiums in both races. But will he win?
Andika will be on pole position. We do have an inside car shot of him, but Andika Rama gets underway. He leaves Josh Perwin eating smoke. So Andika Rama, terrific start. Tarunya also got off to a very fast start as well, but Andika Rama, I tell you what, Amo, for once you didn't back him, and Andika Rama has got off to a perfect start.
Okay, because I didn't want to jinx it on him because he is such a talented driver, and then to say really obvious things about him is doing him disservice. So I'm just gonna give him a bit of a benefit of the doubt and see what happens. But he's proving me wrong here. He's taking the lead, early lead, and he's got to jump on Josh Perwin.
Let's have a look at Sanjay Sai in the pink livery, a debutant from India. Delighted to welcome him and Sohil Shah to the eRacing GP circuit. Andika Rama is the man who is still holding the lead though, and I tell you what, he's pulled himself 3/4 of a second over Josh Perwin. That's a fizzing start. Only Perwin's been able to stay alongside him.
Yep, and he's only 1.1 seconds ahead. He's actually ahead more than the DRS range. So whatever Andika had for supper, for tea time at least, he's actually really on it from the start. So he's actually ain't pulling no punches. He really wants to get this over with and get the maximum amount of points to chase Alif for the lead of the championship.
Second place, Josh Perwin. Second place is always seemingly Josh Perwin. Is he going to get that elusive first race win? Andika Rama is the man who has the lead. Arwin Tarunya, who's always fast, has got himself into P3 ahead of Presley Martono. Dafa Ab also in there as well. Let's talk about Arwin Tarunya. He is always quick. Once again, he's got off the mark very quickly here, Amo.
Yep. One of the three drivers representing for one of the top Indonesian teams called Vortex Simsport, and yeah, he's at the pointy end as well, just like his teammate Jaka and Ayman Aziz. He'll be one to watch out for in this race, in the races for sure.
We'll look a little bit further down. Akila Chandra, another of the Indonesian competitors. There's 6 racing today. Akila goes around the outside, gets on the inside of Fadli Rahmat, who immediately responds. It's Sanjay Sai in front of him, and the best of the Philippines, Luis Moreno, in the black livery. So racing going on all the way through. Look how close Melvin Moe has got there onto the back of Akila.
Yep, RG just like in the first race, these guys are leaving no quarter, even if it's just the first couple of laps, because they know, oh, somebody in the red, it's Fali Rahmat, he's actually slowing, I think.
Dafa Abid is who's dropped backwards, really not sure what happened there, but Luis Moreno showing no pity. He goes on into P5, Tarunya 3, Martono 4, Moreno 5, Sanjay is in 6 on his debut. Good start for him. Ahead of them, let's have the look at the battle for P3, Tarunya and Presley Martono. Real racer and sim racer.
And both Indonesian, so they're probably going to give each other the utmost respect, while at the same time not losing touch with the other Indonesian who's out in front and an Australian in between them.
You did mention Fadli Rahmat before. You're quite right. He has had a nightmare, and Fadli Rahmat is going into the pits. His compatriot Andika Rama, well, that lead was quite a lead at one stage, but DRS really does have an input into this second season of eRacing GP, and Josh Perwin able, once he got into DRS range, to actually close up, as did Tarunya, as did Presley Martono.
There we go. It's an Indonesian sandwich for Josh Perwin. He is now just within 3/10 behind Andika Rama, and the fact that he also has DRS means he will try to look for any way to get past right now. But so far, Andika is holding firm. He has not lost the position since the start of the race.
Yeah, poor old Perwin. It's a club sandwich, isn't it? Because there's a double helping on top. Andy Karama is the man in the lead. Now, Perwin, has he implemented DRS? He may well do. Looks down the main straight as he comes into lap 4. Josh Perwin from Australia. He's on the DRS. Andy Karama tries to defend, but Perwin ghosts around the outside, and Andika tries to defend. Good defensive driving from Andika, but Perwin takes the lead.
And I think he might have actually gotten a bit of a penalty for that because he went beyond that sausage curve at the first turn. So he might have been given a warning to slow his car and give way the position back to now Taruna at least. As is an Indonesian 2, 3, and 4, and Perwin nicks the lead of it, but it's a bit contentious there. He did go off to overtake for the lead.
Yeah, you may well find that he's got a personal information on there. We're on board with Presley Martono, Perwin Tarunya, Andy Karama, and Presley. Going around the outside of Andy Karama is Martono, and Andika didn't like that. Hey, I'm the guy in the championship contention, says Andy Karama. A double race win and a 3rd place in 3 races last weekend.
Yep, he's got a point to prove. Especially the fact that with Hamilton leading the way and he's just quite a few points behind, he just needs to get this round sorted, what it is in the group races, to get the most amount of points possible in order to really challenge Hamilton.
Just want to break away from those front 4 just for a while. Sai Sanjay in the pink livery has got himself ahead of Luis Moreno. He's also taken Melvin Moe and Dylan Tan, who was pretty quick in practice. This is a very fine debut. Talk to me, Amo, about how difficult it is sometimes just to come into an existing race series.
Well, for a start, he doesn't know how the rest of them drive. He might have been seeing the broadcast and see how close these guys are and how clean they are, but you wouldn't really know it until you actually step into the cockpit and drive with these guys and find out that, oh, this is the way they drive. It's crazy.
I can tell you up at the front, Tarunya has made a move on Josh Perwin. Tries to nip around the outside. Perwin defends well. Tarunya has, though, got the acceleration to move away, and Arwin Tarunya, cruelly robbed of a victory last week with a late penalty. He moves into P1, does Arwin Tarunya. He's due a victory as the Indonesian.
Oh yes, that is for sure. I mean, it wasn't because of any malice from the stewards giving a penalty. I think it's because just the game somehow detects him cutting a lot of corners, and unfortunately it amounted to 30 seconds. So cruel luck for him, but he's looking to amend that in this particular round.
Let's just head back to Sanjay. He was in P5. He's now dropped back. Moreno and Melvin Moe have gone past him. In fact, he is dropping right the way down, is Sanjay say. Having really just given him the big help. There is the end of Sanjay. Au revoir, Sanjay. Please rejoin us for race 2.
Now, was that probably an internet connection error, or was that he just fell through into the void and into the matrix? I'm not really sure there, but
I do hope it's an internet problem. Comparatively wise. Presley Martono in P4 at the moment. Perwin under pressure.
And under pressure he is, but I'm confused there for a second because I saw Sanjay's name at the top, but there he is. He's back into 16th. He's out of the race for sure. But yeah, Perwin's got 2 really hungry Indonesians right behind him, waiting for him to make a mistake as Taruna now makes his breakaway.
This is the battle for P1. It says P2 for Arwin Tarunya. The game has registered Sanjay Sai as the race leader. I guarantee you he is not there unless he's in an equal time and space somewhere else. So it's Tarunya 1, Perwin for Australia 2, and Dikarama, Presley Martono. They are the front 4. Behind them, Luis Moreno is in there. In P6, P5, sorry, Melvin Moe has dropped that back as well.
Oh, he just touches him and he sends Moe wide. So that might be a contentious issue for the stewards.
Dafa Ab is the man who was just knocked back there. Melvin Moe, as quite rightly you say, has been knocked back into P10, which has allowed India's Sohail Shah to get himself up into P9. Back to the front. Always a race. Perwin goes one side and Dika maybe tries the other. Josh Perwin eases his way through very nicely. Back into the lead, Josh Perwin.
And the fact that he managed to outfox the guy coming to the first corner. It's an Indonesian sandwich. 1, 2, 3. They're coming into the Rima's curve. Who's gonna come out on top? Rama does. Rama goes out to second. So Taruna who was running the lead, is now going to be nicked into 4th place.
And Presley Martono is also in there as well. This is Presley Martono. We're alongside. He's got the DRS going. He's got Andy Karama maybe in his sights, but going down that hill, control of the car as you go down the hill just makes it a little bit more awkward, that right-hand corner. Still, Purwin with the lead. Officially, it says Sanjay. I promise you, Sanjay is not there. Sanjay disappears, as you can see. That's where Sanjay Sai is, according to the game. Josh Purwin is the man in the genuine lead as they come up over the brow of the hill. He's just not been able to get away from the DRS, and you suspect, Amo, that the DRS will come into play in the latter stages of this race.
Yep, we saw that just now in the first race. There's where drivers who were in the lead, they could either hold it or they could be pipped at the line. But fortunately, for whoever won the races just now, the DRS has not been proven effective in that particular battle. But it might change here in this second race. In the second group, sorry. And
Dika Rama comes very close around the back of Josh Purwin. And Dika Rama is there, implements the DRS and just strolls past. It does make a difference, but it then brings into the tactics of when and how and where you use the DRS ammo. It's a skill in its own right.
Oh yes, definitely. Because the fact that the DRS is so powerful and there's so many straights, you could actually pick any one of them to overtake for the lead. But it could also be a disadvantage if the guy behind also has DRS. So he behind you could nick the ones, even though he could nick you, even though you're trying to actually get the guy in front.
It's a 4-car train. Josh Purwin, who was in P1, has found himself now in P4 as Presley Martono and Arwin Tarunya both went past him. And Dika Rama is the man who is in the lead. Quite a way back, nearly 7 seconds back, is Luis Moreno. He's pulling Dylan Tan, Dafa Ab and Timo Iskander, who's a debutant from Indonesia. Let's just see how Timo is driving along. Not for long though, because want to get back onto the front where Presley Martono is making a bid to take the lead for the very first time in any race in eRacing GP. Martono implements the DRS, doesn't get through on the inside, Ammo.
This is interesting. This is Martono in pretty much his favorite type of territory, fighting for the lead, because he was so good when he was in F4 Southeast Asia. He might want to do it in this game as well. As he goes right the outside, this is amazing stuff. The real racer leads
and holds on to that lead as Andika Rama tries to come back. Arwin Tarunya makes it a 3-way Indonesian triple treat for us. 8 minutes to go though. That is a lot of racing time. Tarunya looks on the outside, but Presley Martono, now he's got that lead. I think he plans to defend it, Amo Hazik.
Yep, and trying to defend as he might, his fellow countrymen also have the DRS right behind him. But crucially, it's an Indonesia 1-2-3, so they might be working together to actually get away from Josh Purwin. But Purwin is still close behind the three of them, so I'm not seeing this battle ending anytime soon.
When you're racing, Ammo, do you think about these team tactics? Because it does take almost ESP to decide that you're going to work alongside another driver. But you may not be telling a fib here, because Purwin is losing just a little bit of ground on the front three.
Yep. In terms of team tactics, not in this case. I'm not sure if Martono, Taruna and Arama are in the same team, but they are the same nationality, and we all know how Indonesians really love to work together to achieve a common goal, and we're seeing it right in front of our eyes. Oh! Taruna goes, is that Martono? Yes, it's Martono. He's lost it at turn 1, and it's now back to 4th.
Presley Martono, indeed. One little error, and you can lose yourself, in his case, 2.5 seconds, but he's trying desperately to attach himself back onto the edge of that group of 3 in front of him. But will the mistake, you've lost a little bit of momentum when you make that kind of mistake, Amo.
Yep, it actually creeps back into your mind saying that, oh, am I going to make the same mistake again? Or am I going to try and my best to actually just keep it together? Either way, both of those actually are still detrimental to the pace, and Martono might have been spooked a bit. He's actually now a second behind from Rama, but he's still within the DRS range of Purwin. So he has enough time to actually get it back up.
Couple of casualties to tell you about. Akila Chandra is out of the game. Timo Iskander on debut has crashed out in his Mercedes. Andika Rama is the man who is in the lead, though this 4-team train. Well, Perwin has got back ahead of Martono after that mistake. Mourinho 5. Dafa Ab, what a sensationally good name. He got himself into P6. Worth looking onto Dafa just to see his name come up in lights.
And the fact that his initials in the top screen there is literally like dabbing. So, yep, he might be dabbing if he wins the race here, but not yet. He's actually putting in a stellar performance so far on his debut.
Just to show the international variety of eRacing GP, Sohil Shah from India, Sutin Shu from Taiwan, and then the first Malaysian here, Ayman Akim Tadashi, down in P10. What's wrong with your countryman, Amo?
Well, countryman and teammate, but I'm actually quite surprised because I saw him just now in qualifying. He was well down the order in 14th. He made his way up to 10th right now, but surprisingly off the pace, Ayman. So I'm actually surprised to see that he's this actually off the pace, but he might be he might be in a shot to win the second race since he's in 10th. He's only got a few drivers in front of him, but not a good first race for him, that's for sure.
Melvin Moe is another who has been tossed from the race, so we've got 4 casualties, 17 starters, 13 out on the track. Andika Rama has managed to pull Josh Perwin a good half second now then. Is he making a move here to try to get out of DRS range?
Not quite yet, and the fact that all three of them, in fact, even Martono, who is more than now 2 seconds behind him, he still has a chance to get that DRS. No matter what, as long as he's actually within 1 or 2 seconds between this lead pack.
We're on board with Tarunya. He can't nip on the inside. It's Andika Rama. They are on lap 12, 4:11 to race. That is probably 3 more laps because we're at the front end of a lap here. So probably 3 laps to go, Amo. And Andika Rama will be making those calculations, as will Josh Perwin. Josh has a dive through on the inside. Andika defends. Tarunya just waiting for those two to have a squabble with each other so he can take the lead.
And crucially, Des, if you look, you saw just now, that little touch between Perwin and Tarunya, that actually costs at least 1 or 2 penalty points. So they might want to avoid that. That could actually really wreck their races.
Indeed, 5 racers are out at the moment. Ungjun Cheng is last of at the moment. Tadashi still in P10. We're focusing on P4 for the Filipino viewers. There's Luis Moreno. He's so used to being in the lead. He's on a race on his own, but that's because he's 4.5 seconds behind Martono in 4th and 4 seconds ahead of Dafa Ab in 5th. So he's got a race of his own back up to the front. Andika Rama in the white. Once again, he races really well in the front despite the DRS facility of the vehicles behind him.
Yeah, we saw again like how Nakib defended and how Alif defended when they were leading the races. This is a pure driving talent. They know how to defend well, and they know how to defend it without actually losing the lead or causing a crash with the other drivers. That's the mark of great drivers. They don't make mistakes when they are out in front, and they don't get really pressure when there are drivers right behind them.
Lovely undulations on this Red Bull Ring circuit as once again Perwin wobbles behind Andika Rama and Arwin Tarunya gets very close as well. But Andika Rama kind of just creates a bottleneck, and so there's nowhere for the other racers to go. 2:23 to go, 1.5 laps left. Presley Martono has been dropped as once again Andika has to hold off the challenge from Josh Perwin, who has to hold off the challenge from Arwin Tarunya.
And the fact that these top 3 have broken away from Martono, so they have one less factor to worry about, but they still have each other as for close company.
Tarunya amazingly hasn't got a result, a podium to his name. He's so quick, but he's almost guaranteed a podium here because Presley Martono has been well dropped. So expect the top 3 to come from these 3. Can I get you to wager an order, Amo Hazik?
Okay, so I wouldn't want to call it too close, but I think Rama's got this. He can just hold on to it because despite being 2 laps to go, he has held the pressure supremely well against the other drivers, especially the fact that Perwin, he has the advantage of a lighter car, but he just can't make his way past. So I'm calling it now. Rama's going to win this race.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. If you can afford a mortgage, put your mortgage on it. If you only get pocket money, try all your pocket money. Andika Rama is the man, though, who is under pressure. Purwin goes around the outside, and Purwin, has he gone too wide? No, he's timed it to perfection. Josh Purwin takes the lead ahead of Andika Rama, who drops now into P3. Final minute of the race, final lap.
I think I've spoken a bit too soon, but again, there's still one lap to go, and Taruna could easily be a factor here. He could actually still challenge for the lead with Purwin and bring Rama back into play.
Josh Purwin has had 3 second places so far this season. He's sick and tired of coming in second. He'd love to pick up that winner's podium. At the moment, he is in control of this race. There are 30 seconds left on the race time, so this will, I believe, be the very last lap as he has to defend from Tarunya. And Dika makes a move around the outside. It's a 3-man train, a 3-man sprint to the line. Tarunya and Purwin, they are going. Oh, it's Tarunya leading. 10 seconds left on the race. It is going to be very, very close. We may well be going on to another lap. We are indeed going on to a final lap. Tarunya has the lead, and Purwin will have DRS, but so does Andika Rama.
Oh, wow. Taruna has made the perfect getaway here. He just got Josh at the line, and he has, I think, a bit of... No, he doesn't have DRS, but crucially, he's leading, and Purwin has been nicked from first to third.
My word. And he couldn't slow down. He must have been aching to slow down to take that race. It must have been a second only, as they are now very, very much on the final lap. Gosh, what calculations you have to make. Tarunya leads from Andika Rama. Sharp right-handed down the hill. You got to control the car. Purwin goes wide. Presley Martono is closing in.
Well, he's too far now. He's definitely had to settle for fourth. But this is the real battle for the race win. Taruna and Rama both have DRS, would you believe it? Josh doesn't. So Josh has actually been mugged for first. He has to settle for third for this one.
Poor old Josh Purwin, forever the bridesmaid, never the bride. But Arwin Tarunya under pressure from Andika. Contact, they could take each other out. Andika in the white takes out Tarunya.
Oh, no.
Another nightmare for Tarunya. Andika Rama goes through. Purwin takes second. Andika takes it. Purwin again second. Third, Presley Martono, in fact, looked like he's got in there ahead of Purwin in third place. Tarunya, another catastrophe for Arwin Tarunya. What does he have to do to get a win, Amo Hazik?
Oh, man. Actually, it's Purwin. Yeah, Purwin, my word. How is he so unlucky in these situations? He had the win in the bag, but he still got nicked at the end. So, tragedy for him.
Sensational racing. Just fantastic.
And I think we might have to look at the steward's decision on that, because Taruna was actually knocked into a half spin coming to the last corner. And yeah, Rama actually won this race, but he might not win in the steward's decision room. So it's still... there's still plenty to talk about coming at the end of this week, coming at this race.
Great to get the feedback from Gav Kintos. Great drive, Rama. Well said. What a race, he says. Clap, 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 clap emoji. Quite right, too. Andika Rama Malana. He won both qualifiers last weekend. He picked up third in race 1. As you say, though, there may well be a race inquiry. Alex Young and co will be very busy judging that one. But Tarunya, what do you have to do?
And look at that, Martono, the big beneficiary there. He actually just held back and he got second. Wow. What a way to actually score your first ever podium by benefiting, or, you know, as what the Malays would say, kutip sayo, they just pick up the pieces.
A lot of collateral damage in that race. Ungjun Cheng, Sohail Shah, Mitchell Cheer, Tadashi, Melvin Mo, Timo Iskander, Sanjay Sai, Akila Chandra all tossed out of the game. So 9 finishers from 17 starters. Andika Rama with the victory, with a big asterisk against that victory.
Yep, we'll have to wait and see. Oh, Rama actually got another penalty. So out of our view, he got a 30-second penalty. So I don't know what happened there. He served his penalty. But anyhow, here's the final results.
So Andika Rama takes it. Martono second. Perwin third, cannot get that win. Tarunya, the consolation of a fastest lap, 13 points plus the fastest lap. Wow, what a fantastic race one. We move a little bit later in the day and we move on to a reverse grid. Talk to me about what drama we might expect, please, Amo Hazik.
I gotta say, even more than the first race. And our broadcast director is actually telling us not to scream to the mics, but we can't really help it. The racing is just this good.
It is, it's sensational. Mark Voltaire Elman, welcome along. Enjoyed that last lap battle, quite right, we all did. Now then, race number 2. Red lights are on. Akila Chandra is on pole. Akila and Timo Iskandar, 2 from Indonesia. We're used to Indonesians being at the front. Good start from Akila. Melvin Moe, though, has shot through into P1. Melvin Moe, superb start from him.
Oh no!
And then they go wide. Mitchell Che goes through. Mitchell Che gets himself into P1. Pretty organised through turn 1.
Well, surprisingly, I was expecting a few people to spin up, but they all actually kept it together. Really racing from these gold drivers.
Mitchell Che is the man who has the lead, and then Melvin Moe in the white is alongside him. Akila Chandra, I'd like to see a new name try to force themselves into the front. Fadli Rakhmat tries to do exactly that, and Tadashi, he owes us a performance, does Ayman Tadashi. We are on board. Tadashi! No! As he knocks and then gets buffeted himself, and self-correction there.
And that was really quick directions to actually get the car going. So, Ayman, who actually just about to get 4th place, the door really close in his face, and he got whacked behind there from, I think, Timo Iskandar. So, luckily, he actually didn't lose much.
Mitchell Che is the man who's got himself a half-second lead from Melvin Moe. Fadli Rakhmat is the man in P3. Let's see if our friend Arwin Tarunya can find us any more trouble. There he is, Arwin. Hey, what's up? He's not in a collision. Keep going, young fella.
And at the back of it, he'll put that incident to the back of his mind. What he really tries to focus now is to get that win as a consolation, because despite him and Rama being proverbially good friends, but at that particular point in time, that might have actually turned him into slight enemies.
Dylan Tan in the blue from Singapore is in his sights as Arwin Tarunya implements the DRS. Tries to go around the outside, but Dylan Tan has done pretty well. You mentioned Andika Rama. Let's see how he's doing. He's in 14th place at the moment, but these longer races, 20-minute races they are. They do give you time to work your way through the pack, Ammo.
Yep, man. They actually also give time for drivers to settle into the race, because if it's a shorter race, like a 15 or 10-minute race, the mentality of everyone around you will be like, I want to get this position quick. Oh! That I was about to say that they had to keep it clean, and there you go. That was
Josh.
Not clean at all.
That was Josh Perwin.
Perwin nearly chopped the nose off Rama there.
Right, up at the front, Melvin Moe has eased himself in front of Mitchell Che. Sorry about that, Melvin, mate. Missed that little manoeuvre from you.
Oh! Is that Chandra? Yes, it was Chandra.
I was just about to say Chandra's got himself into P3, but no more Akila. Akila disappears off the leaderboard and down into P16. One mistake, you hit the gravel and you are out of it.
And unfortunately, he couldn't convert that pole position. So 16th and 16th, and he tries to spin his way out, but unfortunately the tires are dirty and the temperatures are high. So yeah, he has to really take a while to recover those tires.
Back at the front, Melvin Moe is still leading. The Malaysian and Mitchell Che. Malaysia had a miserable time in race 1. You need to have words with your compatriots, but here in race 2, they are 1, 2, 4, and 6. It's looking pretty good. Let's have a look at the P3. Fadli Rakhmat behind them. Always was a fan of Fadli. His role as chief apologist, though, has been taken over by Arwin Tarunya.
Yeah, he'll apologize to the drivers, but he'll definitely apologize to us if he doesn't put in a good performance. But so far, so good for him. He's up to 3rd, and he's at the pointy end there. He's right behind 2 actual drivers on Melvin Moe and Mitchell Che.
Yeah, Melvin Moe has still managed to hold on. Good racing. I am enjoying this. I'm loving the DRS involvements, because you've got to be tactical about it, as Mitchell Che retakes the lead and Melvin goes from 1 to 3. Tadashi is right on the tail as well. Tadashi looking perfect in pink in P4. Right, this is a great little battle for these front 4 places. Still 15 and a half minutes to go.
Still, yep, 15 minutes. Now we're coming into the region of where the race actually would start last season. Oh, someone into the barriers! That is Shah! He just touched the AstroTurf and he goes off.
Welcome to eRacing GP, Sohail. We do apologise, but you make a mistake like that and you will find yourself a long, long way behind from the middle of the pack. 5th, I think he was, 4th or 5th. He finds himself rather like Akila Chandra spinning out. Akila has dropped out of the race. Once again up the front, Fadli Rakhmat moves into the lead ahead of Mitchell Cheer. Fadli into corner 1. Mitchell gets it wrong. Mitchell can't quite control it and loses a bit of time. And this is good for Fadli. He might be able to get away from the rest of the pack here, Amo.
Yep, and the fact that he has the DRS and Mitchell doesn't because he was leading just now will mean that this is the perfect opportunity to break away from the peloton and become the sprinter.
There is the gap that he's got. It's over a second. If he can accelerate away and give himself a perfect lap, all he's got to do is focus and concentrate. That lead is up to 1.5, 1.6 seconds now. Looks like he's taken advantage of the opportunity, Amo.
Yep, 1.1 seconds. He might still be within DRS zone if the DRS range if Mitchell gets it within a second in the last 2 corners. But I think, I'm calling it now, Rahman has timed it to perfection.
Well, you called it correctly last time, gotta say. Not quite the way you thought, where you said Andika would win. He did, but not in the way you thought. There's the gap between P2, Mitchell Cheer, and P1. It's 1.2 seconds as they cross the line. No DRS opportunity for Mitchell Cheer.
Oh yeah, he did. And the fact that he did deploy, was it? Yeah, no, he didn't. So he didn't get DRS last time, right? He didn't get DRS this time. So right now he's going to be the cork in the bottle in second.
In P3, Melvin Moe is under pressure from Tadashi and our friend Tarunya and Presley Martono. Also, Andika Rama has got himself up into that P7. Look at this. He's done that very neatly and well, has Andika Rama Molana.
You bet. And the fact that up to 7 after was in 14th in just only 5 minutes ago, I think.
Indeed, he was.
It's testament again to how good he is in reverse grid races.
Great comment from Miko Nasi on Facebook. He says, tricky last few corners on this circuit. Would you agree, Amo?
Yep, I agree. There's the fact that quite a few experienced drivers have been caught up by it, notably Nabil, then Rama, and then Taruna. It shows how tricky it is. In fact, even the real F1 drivers will get caught out here. So, despite it looking relatively easy, it is actually quite hard when you're really pushing it.
Tell you what, Fadli has been able to pull that lead to nearly 3 seconds. He really has done a terrific drive there on that lap. He's taken full advantage. Mitchell Cheer is the man in P2 with Melvin Moe, Tadashi, Tarunya, Martono and Dikarama all closing in. And Dikarama, we're on board with him in P7. Might make a move down this second straight after corner number 1.
Yep, and the fact that all 4 of them, 5 actually, behind Mitchell Cheer have DRS and they're swarming on him like a swarm of bees. And there goes Melvin Moe, he's up to second. Tadashi goes to the inside. Ayman tries to go through, but he pushes Mitchell out of the way. That might be inquiry for the stewards as well.
Well, Mitchell dropped there from P1 down to P7. So Melvin Moe's got himself into a good position in P2, but there is Mitchell Cheer, a one-stage leading. Now that's Josh Perwin, who's come back the latest to get the boxing gloves out on poor old Mitchell Cheer. A bit of bullying going on here, Josh.
Unfortunately, Mitchell has done his best in the race clearly, but unfortunately the rest of them just mugged him. Poor old Mitchell, what does he have to do to actually just get a clean race?
Mitchell Cheer, well, he's trying to get it back. He's taking it out on Andika Rama. Then Josh says,
no.
You leave my pal Andika out of this, will you please? But Mitchell is standing up for himself here. Good to see. Andika and Tadashi in front of him. Presley Martono and Arwin Tarunya in front of them as they come onto lap number 7. Start, finish straight once again. Way out in front is Fadli Rakhmat as Perwin makes a move, implements the DRS but can't get around. A good move from Josh Perwin eventually took the inside corner on turn number 1.
Second time of asking, and the fact that Mitchell also had the DRS but he didn't use it at the start finish straight, so he might have thought that he didn't have DRS but until he heard the beep in his ear and he just used it, but unfortunately a little too late. He's now dropped to 8th.
Poor old Mitchell is now under pressure from Luis Moreno and Dafa Ab. glorious name. Fadli Rakhmat, though, that lead 2.5 seconds for Fadli Rakhmat of Indonesia. Arwin Tarunya got through into P2. With Arwin, though, you know anything can happen.
Literally anything says it all. And the fact that we thought he had the win in the bag at the end of the race one, not gonna lie. But he just got his victory cruelly snatched by his own countrymen, who they'll probably apologize later, but I think he's gonna inquire that first race.
I can't wait to see how that turns out. At the moment, it's a provisional win for Andika in race 1. We're on board with Tarunya, who was off the podium places, but under pressure, Tarunya from Melvin Mo. Melvin from Malaysia. So it's Indonesia, Malaysia, Indonesia. And Melvin may just have a look on the inside of Arwin Tarunya. No, not on that occasion. Fadli Rakhmat, meantime, he's doing just about everything right, Amo. It can be a lonely place when you're in the lead.
Oh, definitely does. It's basically no man's land, but it's the kind of no man's land that you would rather set up a house and live in it, because you're in the clear and you have no threats.
He'll enjoy the Austrian scenery as he goes up the hill. The fir trees looking resplendent. Tarmac and fir trees, that's what you want to see looking backwards.
Oh, yes. It's the sound of music to his ears.
Oh, good line. I like that. Those hills are alive. Behind them, Tadashi has been overtaken by Perwin. Perwin's got himself up into P5 with Mo and Andika Rama in his sights. Andika Rama currently in P3, a P1 and in race 1, provisional, and 3rd place here in race 3. He really is a fine racer, Andika Rama Malana.
To say that he's just a really good racer is doing him a disservice, as I would say, because this guy, he has achieved a lot in sim racing, and for him here to not win it will be an absolute travesty.
I do like to go around the international language that we have. We've got Luis Moreno from the Philippines, currently in P10. He's just gone past poor old Mitchell Cheer, who's been mugged again. Su Tin Shin has got himself up into P11. He's got Mitchell in his sights. I wonder if he's the next ever. What did Mitchell do wrong? I wonder what he did wrong this morning.
I don't think he did anything wrong this morning, apart from the fact that he wasn't really prepared to what happens when there's a reverse grid race and a lot of hungry sharks in the water.
Hungry Sharks, Dylan Tan, P12. Sohail Shah on debut has found it a little bit difficult. Is 13 seconds adrift of 14th placer Ung Jun Cheng. Up at the front though, Fadli Rakhmat still has that lead of 2.5 seconds. And Dika, that's the battle we're going to focus on now, Amo, the battle for P2.
Yep, and Rama is now right in front of this pack, so it's an all Mercedes, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. If you include Pressimotono, he's actually still within range, so it's a friendly fire between all the Mercedes drivers, and who's going to come out on top is how they will play it well, who plays their cards well.
Back now in P7, we're on board with Presley Martono, who got himself on the podium. He's got Tadashi in his sights, as Josh Perwin has got himself ahead of Melvin Mo. A lot of jockeying for positions, and there is the odd change of placing. 7 minutes to play. We come into lap number 10. Andika Rama 2.5 seconds behind Fadli Rakhmat in P2. Arwin Tarunya in P3. Let's go to the front of this little group of 6.
And to put the Fast 6 reference for Fast and Furious, these guys are fast and probably right now furious. As Andika just let Taruna by, so probably that's atonement for what he did in race 1.
Well, playing nice guys, those two. Don't believe it.
Well,
let's see what really is going through Andika's mind.
Well, I would hazard to say that he might have let Taruna by, knowing that after what he did in race 1, he just wants atonement for race 2. And that's exactly what Rama has done. We'll have to wait and hear from him in interviews after this, but what has happened now is Taruna is now within a shot of getting the race win that he actually craves for.
Hey, I tell you what, they are closing in a little bit on Fadli Rakhmat. Oh, it's 1.9 seconds. Wow, it was 2.5 seconds not long ago. Is Fadli Rakhmat slowing? What's the tyre wear on this 20-minute race?
I would hazard to guess again that the tyre wear may not be that sufficient, effective compared to if it was a 40-minute race. But the tires do hit the yellow zone, as in like the proverbial falling off the cliff, we can say, like in F1. So yeah, right now we're 50 minutes into the race. Rahmat might be starting to feel the effects of tires dropping off the cliff.
Yeah, he has been in the lead for a long time, and now it's not just fir trees and tarmac he can see. He can see Arwin Tarunya closing within 1.5 seconds, and closing pretty tight here. I tell you what, with 5 minutes still to go, this race certainly is not one for Fadli Rahmat.
No, it isn't. We can safely say that. But I would still say that he will win this race, but he will definitely be under pressure coming towards the closing stages, just because his tyre was coming.
Andy Karama goes through into P2 ahead of Tarunya. You said they were friends.
Not now, at least, I think, because the atonement is like, okay, I've given you my atonement, now I take back my atonement and I want to get in front of you. I'm ruling this race.
Andy Karama, P2, Arwin Tarunya 3. Josh Perwin is closing in as well in P4. Melvin Mose lost just a little bit of ground, as has Tadashi. Tarunya makes a move once again on Andika Rama. And these three squabbling is good news for Fadli Rahmat, because he's re-established that 2-second advantage. But he certainly came under pressure for a little while as they go through. It'll be coming on to lap 12 next.
And he's still got 2 laps to go, so he needs to hold his nerve here. He mustn't buckle under the pressure of seeing the army of Stuttgart cars coming at him.
It'll be more than 2 laps. 4 minutes to go. Best lap 1:24.4 from Andika Rama. So what have we got? We've got at least 3, maybe even 4 laps to go.
I think my guess is at least around 2 laps at least, because we did reach 14 laps at the last time. So yeah,
and finish this one, of course. Yeah. So, and that's an important calculation to make, because we saw on the last race, they just went into the final lap with 1 second remaining on the clock. So you've got to make that calculation, and I'm wondering if Fadli, that's something behind why he slowed down a little bit, because slowed down he has. The lead is down to 1.1 seconds between Fadli Rahmat and Arwin Tarunya.
Oh, the early breakaway may have not worked after all, because everyone else has DRS. He doesn't. He doesn't have the luxury of a guy in front of him, even if it's a back marker, to give it a DRS. So even if he was doing slow and steady, the tieway is kicking in, and everybody else has DRS. So it's not over yet for Rahmat, but I still think if he holds his nerve, he can still win this race.
So just under 3 minutes to go. It'll be 2 more laps. After this, they go through the start-finish rate. 1:25. Ooh, you know what? Whoa. That's going to be close. 2 laps is my bet, but tell you what, it is going to be close. Fadli Rahmat, the lead has been closed down to 0.3 of a second.
And he has buckled. Unfortunately, he has choked, and Taruna's now the inside. The BMW gives way to the Mercedes, and Taruna leads race 2.
Arwin Tarunya, wow, what catastrophe can he avoid on this final lap? Pushed out of a podium place on race number 1. He's bided his time, and he's slowly but surely made this race his own. Let's start at the very beginning. Very good place to start for Arwin Tarunya. He has the lead from Fadli Rahmat, and if Fadli does lose this he really, really will have blown it.
I think he has felt like he has blown it now, because he's 7/10. In fact, he's now close to a second behind from Taruna. He does have DRS. Taruna does, and Taruna is pulling away. That is such a achingly painful feeling to see. You had the race in hand, but unfortunately your pace falls off, and now Taruna has to settle for second at least.
1:36 to go still. 1:32 to go. Yeah, will this be the final lap? Has he got over? Yes, he has. Arwin Tarunya leads from Fadli Rahmat, who might just be inside DRS capacity. Fadli, if he's going to use it, he's got to get close now. So, has he called our bluff, Fadli Rahmat? Is he saving it for this final lap?
I think so, but a second to pull in the last lap, and I think this is the last lap. So if he has to go for it, he really needs to go for it now.
This is the last lap. It got to be. Fadli Rahmat, P2 in the white. Arwin Tarunya. Did he go too early? Josh Perwin is closing in, as is Andy Karama. Poor old Arwin Tarunya. There may well be more problems for him. Melvin Moe is also close to within fighting range in P5. What a scrap this is going to be on the final lap. Half a lap to go. The lead, though, is still 0.6 of a second. Maybe Tarunya can hold on.
It's a tenuous lead, but it is a very close one. We saw what happened last time. Tarunya got nicked at the end. He's a bit further away this time. He might actually hold on to this, unless he actually crossed the line a second too early. This is a close one.
Might being the operative word. Arwin Tarunya in the grey is the man in the lead. Fadli Rakhmat, who was in the lead, has he left it too late? Arwin Tarunya will take the victory from Fadli Rakhmat, from Josh Perwin ahead of Andy Karama, Melvin Moe, Tadashi Dafaab and Dylan Tan. So Arwin Tarunya just holds on, and this time there was no last corner mayhem to deny him the 15 points.
Well, he has made up for what happened to race 1, that's for sure. He has now atoned himself, basically. Rama played his part in giving way to him as well. They did fight for a while, but ultimately he has outfoxed him in the second race and claimed a well-deserved win.
Let's give a shout out to the nations. Luis Moreno finishing in P9. Sohail Shah on debut for India in P11. The last of the finishers, and Malaysia having another nightmare day. Melvin Moe finishing as he did in P5. But there, for once, no drama, but he timed it superbly in the end. Arwin Tarunya will pick up the victory. It'll be an Indonesia 1-2, and Josh Perwin gets another podium, but doesn't again get a victory.
Again, always the bridesmaid, never the bride for Josh. But crucially, despite that, it won't bother him too much. He still gained valuable points in the championship hunts. And other drivers who are in the race, I think, who are still in the race. Jun Cheng-en, he's in 11th. Timo Iskandar, with the rather coincidental Timo name, who is actually in DTM, driving Mercedes, 12th. And 13th is Akila Chandra, who was 11 laps behind him. He was out of the race already.
Wow, guys, thank you so much for that race. I mean, whoa, what an exciting race. Watching you guys call it. Des Corkill and Amo Hazik. But look at that. Tarunya takes the win, and he keeps it this time. Fast lap of the race 2. Josh Perwin P2. Andika Rama P3. Melvin Moe 4. And Ayman Hakim in P5. Great racing. Rachmat, though, got a 30-second penalty. Oh, no. Down to P10. Pushes him down to P10. Gosh. Maybe he suffered the same fate as Tarunya did in round 2 just last week, when Tarunya took the win but then got a 30-second penalty.
But Arwin Tarunya at last, Alex Young, he gets the victory. Nothing will deny him this time. I'm interested to see if there's been any correspondence about what happened in race number 1 and whether Arwin is actually going to make a protest, because he was all on for a podium and ended up in P4.
Yeah, I mean, there was so much contact. I think Group A, we only saw 1 protest, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get a lot more protests for Group B. Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. But yes, great to see Tarunya with the win. You know, he's such a fast driver. He has a background in go-karts and race in real life race cars as well. He sets his steering to a really sensitive setting, so it hardly moves it. So you have to be very precise when you're that quick. Sometimes he goes over the limit though, and he does come under track limits issues. But great to see him get the win.
But for entertainment, don't take him out of this championship, young fella. Same with Fadli Rakhmat as well. 2 terrific competitors, although Fadli picking up a 30-second penalty. Okay, our focus, I believe, has got to go on to the Copper Championship next. We'll send, we'll get confirmation. We'll deal with all the protests, and there will be, and then we will work out the overall championship standings. Look out on social media. Follow us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, and we'll get the results out to you. So let's move on to Copper, and let's have a look at the starting racers with their liveries that we have got for round 3 of the Copper. Just a second. Yes, that would be that one. Pause. So Sumudabilia from Philippines is the overall championship leader. He hasn't got a race victory to his name at the moment, Sumudabilia. But Zarif has got a couple of race victories to his credit. But there's 4 or 5 races in that little pack, Alex, who are probably very, very comfortable. You look at Edward Wong, Peter Dutoit. Axel Mariano had a very good debut weekend a couple of weeks ago. Alan Escotto has had podiums in all he's had 3 podiums so far without picking up a win. So there's plenty of good races out there. Considering this is Copper, I reckon you've got together a pretty solid group of racers.
Yeah. Definitely. So we've seen some of the liveries that they're using. We can have a look actually at the championship and see how they're doing coming into round 4. So that one there will be good for the championship.
Copper Championship, just to confirm, Zuriel Sumudabilia is leading with 67 points without a victory to his name so far. Zarif Hazik Johari from Malaysia. Alan Escotto, as I said. Edward Wong up there. Nasri Aslan can also be very quick. Daniel Oy picked up big points last weekend in race number 2 on Silverstone. We're going around the Salzburg Red Bull ring in Salzburg for today. And then you go right the way down, and young Yevon David. I know you like to see the youngsters really begin to make a point, and Yevon is as young as we've had in this championship. Okay, practice. We have got, I need the glasses on for this. We've got 3 minutes or so left in practice. And guys to look out for, well, Zarif Hazik is the quickest out there. Different cars. It's not the DTMs, it's the World Touring cars. So what we've seen in the earlier races of the DRS coming in and the power, it changes completely with these new vehicles, Alex.
Yeah, and there is Zarif now. Johari actually very new to sim racing, but he's improved so much. When he was in the AM class in the first edition, we could see he was making a lot of mistakes and involved in a lot of accidents, although his pace wasn't so bad. So he's cut down the accidents now, cut down the mistakes, and his pace is right there. He's second in the championship, and he's quickest of all so far in practice.
Yeah, it is only practice. We've got qualifications still to come. Amo Hazik will join Alex for that. Daniel Oy is another relatively quick guy. He had good results last weekend, Daniel. Good race, and we've got 23 drivers on the grid out there. Looking forward to seeing how Alan Escotto does, as Escotto is another who's regularly there or thereabouts the Filipino without really without being able to get a race win to his name at the moment, Alex.
Yes, indeed. So just looking at some of these drivers, yeah, a lot of good drivers here. Hold on, I'm just trying to look at some of these protests.
You'll be spending a long time, I think, on the protests. In the meantime, let's just give you some liveries to look after. Ken Smith will be in the yellow, just coming out to start one of his practice laps. Smith, Sumudabilia is the championship leader in the red and white. Zarif Hazik in the white. Easy to pick out sky blue of Edward Wong. And Peter Dutoit from Vietnam. Good to get the Vietnamese involved. Ken Smith, Singaporean based. Shingen from Japan, and FMO Test. Get yourself a proper name, young testy fella. Regal Dutoit, Alan Escotto, Jahan Kalam, and Yevon David will also be on the grid. Jahan Kalam is another who's been pretty quick. Juno Santa and Junelli Cruz, we've seen them before in season 1, and Sean Sayre was pretty rapid last week, if I recall. He is in the white. Hendra Adeputra, Fikri Aska, Emiliano Cyrus, a new name for us from Singapore, and Chris Chu. And then a little further down, Daniel Oy, see him at the front, and Adam Kondrolochis from Malaysia. Good to get him back in the series, and Ken Keck completing the liveries with Ken Smith. And how about this name, Emiliano Cyrus? Where do these fellas get these names? It's terrific. Makes it truly sound exotic.
Yes, some really good names there. There's a lot of new drivers there as well. Watching Alan Escotto, he's been quite consistent. He's third in the championship now. F-mode tests, obviously going through some greenery there. Interesting name, Japanese driver. Yet to meet him yet, but it'd be nice to meet him at some point. But now, watching the qualifying start, shall we go with the championship leader though? It would be kind of nice to watch him. He's not, I don't think he's won a race yet, but he's finished second 3 times, and that's why he is leading the championship. Suma Dabila then starts his lap in the Honda, the KCMG Honda. Oh, restarts the lap again. We saw quite a few drivers doing this, restarting the laps. Okay, let's go back with Johari there. Through turn 1, nice and easy in the Alpha. This Alpha is a very good handling car, although it is down a little bit on straight line speed, they say. So, but it makes up for it for the handling. But this is a horsepower subtract. Oh, he's slowing down now as well. Looks like he's giving up on that lap. Maybe wants to restart. So we'll go back with Suma Dabila then. Into turn 1 in the Honda. Turns in nicely. Ooh, uses all the road and a bit more at the exit of turn 1. Quite a bit further to go. Long drag in the TCR car. Feels like forever because it's such a long corner. That's such a long straight. But this Honda's a really good handling car. Seems to have a good compromise for straight line speed and cornering speed. Nice and easy through the apex. You don't have to touch the curb at the apex there. It's more important to brake and rotate the car, get in the power. That's far more important than riding the curb at turn 2. Now downhill for turn 3, steeply downhill. Have to watch out for the rears locking under braking here. Then nicely turned in. Seems to have gotten the power nice and early too. Now double left-handed. This is the first time we go left for a long time in this lap, so the front right is always a bit cold. So you always have a bit of understeer through this corner as the track breaks away. Use all the curb on the exit, which he does nicely. Zuriel gets that really nicely. Turns in nice and gradual on the power. That looks just about right, and he is purple in sector 2. So this looks like it's good enough for pole position at the moment. Purple sector 1, purple sector 2. Let's see if he can keep it nice and clean for the last 2 corners on the track. Through the penultimate corner, turn 7. Oh, lots of curb at the exit. Ooh, runs a bit wide the last corner. Oh no. Threw it all away.
He's just got time. Has he got time? What are we looking at? 2:36. Yeah, of course he's got time for a lap, hasn't he? It's a short lap. What the best times? 1:39. If you're breaking 1:40, it's not bad. If you're any time inside 1:30, can you expect anyone to beat 1:39?
For sure, he'll have enough time to get that done. Yes, I think so. Axel though, he's on pole at the moment. Young driver. I think he's very young indeed. Blue, but someone's gone quicker, and that's Johari. Johari has put it on pole at the moment. We said he'd be in the hunt for pole position. He's got enough time for one more lap. Let's see what this next sector is. He's on pole at the moment. End of sector 1 coming up now, just before turn 2. Let's see if he goes quicker here. Ooh, yes, just inside. So he's going quicker again. But let's go further back. Let's see how Suma Dabila's lap is going. He's coming down to turn 3. He's gone quick. He's 2/10 in on sector 1. So, but let's see if he can maintain it. We saw him make a mistake on the very last corner of his qualifying lap. He's got 2 sectors to go though yet, Des.
Well, here is Zuriel Suma Dabila, the championship leader. But it's Zarif Hazik Johari who has got the fastest lap. The only one to break 1:39. Zuriel, yes, he's fastest through sector 2. So this looks like it could be good enough. If not to get him onto pole position, could well get him onto the front row of the grid. Let's stay alongside Zuriel Suma Dabila here as he comes around the right-hand corner. Has he got that one right? He's fastest through 1. He's fastest through 2. Comes into the home straight. Zuriel Suma Dabila. Time to beat is 1:38.679. He is going to be in P1. 1:37.993. Sensational stuff. And really, really quick, Alex Young.
What a great lap. Oh, and Zarif Johari pips Edward Wong to the front row. So everyone going a little bit quicker at the end. Running out of time though. Wow, look at that. Let's see who else is on quick laps. Escotto, oh, he spins at the last corner, so he won't improve either. Those are the times. So what a great lap. 3/10. quicker than anyone else for Summa Dabila. Great last lap.
Summa Dabila, absolutely sensational. 138, 168. Zarif Hazik, 138, 512. Edward Wong will be on P2 alongside Escotto. Axel Mariano, that's very quick, alongside Vietnam's Rigel de Trois. Global Edition Copper Class, round 3 of 6 for the season. We will be underway imminently. So, Alex Young and Des Corkill taking you through race number 1. Amo Hazik will be involved for some analysis as well. We are around the Red Bull Ring, and we have got a 15-minute race coming your way. It's very quick, very quick. 1:38 is the fastest time, and that belongs to Zarif Hazik. Zuriel Summa Dabila. Zuriel on pole position. Red lights are off, and Zuriel's got off to a flyer. Really good from Zuriel Summa Dabila. He is currently in P1, Summa Dabila, and he has raced away from Zarif Hazik. Edward Wong and Alan Escotto left trailing in the wake. We're on board here with Edward Wong. Escotto in P3. Amo Hazik joins us in the commentary box. Amo, what a start from Summa Dabila.
Oh, that's a really good getaway. And the fact that the the Honda seems to have a very good jump off the line in any of the drivers' hands. So for him to get that kind of start and build a lead advantage, plus the fact they don't have to worry about DRS in these touring cars, means that he could actually just hammer it all the way to the end of the race.
Further down, it is incredibly bunched. There's a problem there for Adam Kondralochis. He's got himself into trouble, but you've got, well, very little time from Rigel de Trois alongside Emiliano Cyrus and Fikri. And in the middle of the pack, Amo, you'd expect a lot of contact, because these are drivers who aren't really used to sim racing at this competitive level.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the fact that we're seeing quite a stringed out field, even in lap 1, is kind of showing that there's drivers who are still not used to the race start. So far so good. And for the sake of the entertainment, it's going to be a bit boring for now, at least until the field starts bunching up again.
Okay, let's get on board once again with Summa Dabila. He has emphasized what a terrific start it was, because he has taken that lead to over 1.5 seconds as they come towards the tail end of lap number 1. That is really quick from Zuriel Summa Dabila. Hasn't got a race win to his name, but if he carries on in this form, Amo Hazik, he is certainly going to stop that run of 2nd and 3rd places.
Oh yes, there's for sure. He can break that duck now, but he's still got 13 minutes left to go to beat it. And the fact that there's some pretty fast drivers who are not even in contention for the win just about yet. So this race is not over, even by a long shot. We saw what happened just now to Fali Rahman. He was leading the race the whole way, thought he was looking good, but then suddenly he got nicked at the end.
Yeah, that was a gold edition race that we saw. We're watching the copper race quality here. Emiliano Cyrus has got himself into a decent position alongside Rigel de Trois. This is the battle for P7. The two similar liveries. Very often the cars do have similar liveries. The graphics on Race Room sort out who is who, and that is Emiliano Cyrus on debut driving the Hyundai. He's in P7. The real battle though seems to be in P3, where Alan Escotto is just leading from Edward Wong. Edward in the easy to pick out Elache car in the sky blue.
And Elache being the nephew of World Touring Car Champion Ivan Muller, driving in a very outstanding, shall we say, Link & Co car, all blue in almost like the color of Sweden.
It is indeed, and he's putting pressure on for P3. It's Escotto who is currently in P3. No DRS, of course, so you just take the slipstream, take the opportunity if it's there, but you've got to be braver in your braking if you're Edward Wong.
Nah, they're going to overtake this time around, because knowing how these touring cars, they're much heavier and they're much prone to understeer because they're front wheel drive, so he might not want to push out someone this early in the race to get a penalty that will haunt him at the end.
This time Edward Wong does ease past on the home straight, has the inside line, and Edward Wong successfully negotiates contact, nearly goes up on 2 wheels. Edward Wong and Alan Escotto. Escotto punching back. My word, that was a lovely uppercut, and Edward Wong was almost knocked out.
Boxing references here, and the undercuts are the guys right behind him as Edward tries to cut back on the inside. Nearly makes it. He had to push Escoto a bit out of the way. That might be a bit cheeky, but the fact that Escoto closed the door very late on him, so Edward had to go for it, otherwise they would have actually both been off the circuit.
They better be careful, because disciplinary points will mount up. They will have accumulated quite a few, and Axel Mariano, for a youngster, is showing real patience here. He's just letting Escoto and Edward Wong slug it out for P3. Wong eventually gets into P3. Escoto now under pressure from Mariano.
Oh, Mariano's brave to try to move on the inside there, coming into turn 5. Yeah, that move would not be on anyway because he didn't have enough room, as Edward Wong would probably try to make his escape, but in a very lonely third.
Junelli Cruz makes his attempt to get into P6. Regal de Trois in P7. Emiliano Cyrus 8. Kalam 9. Sean Sayre. Let's go and have a look at a lonely Zuriel Sumadebilia. He is going to be very lonely because he and Zarif Hazik, who are 1 and 2 in the championship standings, possibly they're too good for this class, Amo.
Well, they might be promoted up to bronze for the next one because, yes, as you said, they are too good. And how good they are? 7 seconds ahead of the next guy in third, which is Edward Wong. So, yeah, we might consider actually moving them up a class. As a look at the battle for third, that is a swarm of cars coming now.
There is the battle for third. Wong in the blue has got Mariano, Escoto, Cruz, and Regal de Trois very close. Let's get on board with Junelli Cruz. He goes on the inside of Alan Escoto. Escoto has taken a bit of a battering in the last couple of laps. Look at the damage on the side of his car, and Junelli Cruz is able to barge his way through past poor Alan Escoto.
Escoto really got mugged there. He was up to third at one point, but now he's now dropped to 6th. But he'll have to console inside the fact that he's still within range of the podium places as he goes on the inside of Cruz. Cruz runs a bit wide. He gave him plenty of space. That is really kind driving, but unfortunately, to his detriment, he's dropped 2 positions. As
Regal de Trois goes through as well.
His brother Peter.
That is just a little bit of impudence there from Regal de Trois, as he literally saw everybody else scrapping. Up in P3, Axel Mariano's got himself ahead of Edward Wong. Great driving by the youngster.
And meanwhile, his brother Peter Dutoit got a drive-through penalty for ignoring slow warning. So, mixed fortunes there between the two Dutoit brothers. Meanwhile, back in third place here, Mariano tries to go around the outside at the corner that no one would overtake unless you're in a faster car. Not quite yet. He still stays in 4th. Edward now soaking a lot of pressure here from a huge field of drivers waiting to take 3rd place.
Let's see if Axel Mariano will make a move on the home straight as they go into lap number 5. Sumadebilia and Hazik Johari are way clear. Axel Mariano, well, poor old Edward Wong has disappeared out of sight. And Axel Mariano clicked his fingers, and poor old Edward Wong, I think we've got an internet connectivity problem, and a man disappears down the internet hole.
He summoned a genie, that's for sure.
Back of the front, Sumadebilia, Zarif Hazik, Axel Mariano. Sorry about that, Edward. That really is incredibly frustrating, particularly when you're in a battle for P3. Regal de Trois, though, can join that battle for P3. There he is in the black. PWR Racing in the Cupra. How do these different cars handle? Because we've got 6 or 7 different makes out there. What are the differences, Amo?
Well, for starters, I think the Honda is pretty much the most popular because it's pretty much what everyone wants to drive. Everyone knows a Honda as a brand. But the fact that the car itself is easy on the drivers, even for the newbies like these guys, because it turns better. While drivers who choose the Hyundai probably knew about it because they want to get fast on the straights, and this car is pretty much overpowered on the straights. So that's why I chose it. We can see there, Cyrus goes into the inside of Callum. The Alpha, as we mentioned in the first 2 rounds of the season, is pretty much unfancy because due to the fact that the car is slightly underpowered compared to the rest, but it handles well around the corners, and this is where the advantage of good turning will come to the fore. While the Cupra, not really sure because not many people choose the Cupra in any of the races because for starters, a lot of people will not know what is a Cupra. It's actually hard to say yet. They just put a Cupra name. But the car seems to be pretty fast on the straight as well. You can see that it's pulling away from the Polo of Fikri Azkar. yeah, the characteristics from all these cars different and they complement each other. But some cars stand out more than others. As we can see there, the amount of Hondas that people have chosen is testament to how easy this car is for the beginners.
Great game and racing knowledge there from Amo Hazik in the commentary box. There's a casualty. Daniel Oy is out of the race. Zuriel Sumatabilia, his lead is now 3.2 seconds from Zarif Hazik as he goes through. And Zarif himself is 7 seconds clear of Axel Mariano, who's 1.5 seconds clear of Regal de Troyes. So we're looking for a little bit of excitement, as you quite rightly said early on. The car's strung out along the Red Bull Ring.
And I probably called it a bit too soon whether or not if it's strung out too far, but judging by the way it goes, everyone's in their little islands in the middle of the ocean, and whoever's killing it, they want to build a bit of a boat to actually try to chase after the guys in front. Let's
find out a little bit of competitive racing going on. Ronaldo Julie is currently in P14. He's on the back of F mode Test. Get yourself a proper name, young fella. For that reason, we do not want Test to be winning this battle.
He's testing our patience, that's
for
sure.
Very good. I saw what you did then. Julie leads. Julie, sorry, in 14th, chases. Will he make the move? Probably not close enough to have a look round the back of Test. In the meantime, let's go back up to the front. Sumatabilia. Well, we can say he's a long way clear. You've got to still be lapping pretty quickly, and he's lapping 138 regularly, and only he and Zarif have been anywhere near the 138s. That's consistent stuff.
And the fact that they're only a second off from their qualifying time, so proves how fast they are in the race as well. Just a second off, that's not easy to pull off, especially with the cars being full of fuel and the tires are probably scrubbing away at the moment. And speaking of going good in races, we see a lot of Filipino drivers in the top 10. That's something for them to cheer about. There's a driver leading the race who's from the Philippines in 3rd, 5th, 6th, 8th. That is a great day for them. Philippines Day came early.
3rd, Axel Mariano holding on. Good battle going on there between Sean Sear and Ken Smith. Or there was. Who's that? Who's gone out there? May well be Ken Smith, losing a lot of time. Arjuna Santa also falling away.
I think Smith just actually lost it on the brakes because the cars tend to actually be more rear biased, because if you put bias to the front, the cars can't turn, so you put it to the rear. Once you press the brakes a bit too hard, the cars will step out and you smack into the barriers, and that's what happened to Smith. But luckily, he kept it all together in terms of not losing too much time to the guys in front and a lot of damage to his car.
The two just ahead of him, Johan Kalam and Sean Sear. John Sear tries to go around the outside, takes the... he is closed off big time there.
And he paid the price for it. He paid the price for trying to come into a door that was almost firmly shut. And he has spun himself into the direct path of Smith, who luckily manages to keep going. He would have actually suffered even more if he had a direct hit.
And the Japanese Test tries to get in front of him. Instead, though, Ronaldo Julie goes past, and Sean Sear is having to work hard here. Sean Sear on the right of that screen. Can he hold on going into the corner? The answer is yes, he can. He's just held off Ronaldo Julie. Ahead of them, Alan Escotto is in a good little battle with Emiliano Cyrus. Two of the Emiliano Cyrus from Singapore, Alan Escotto. We're looking backwards from Cyrus onto Johan Kalam. Let's have a look on Escotto and see the pressure that he's under from Cyrus.
And Cyrus there. Actually, I think he made a move down, but here's Escotto coming back at him. No, that's not Cyrus, that's actually Cruz, so it's a Filipino battle with Cyrus further behind here in the Hyundai.
I do apologize. Yes, there is Janelli Cruz. He is on the inside. He's in P5. Alan Escotto just going round the outside. Escotto and Cruz are literally wheel by wheel, and Cyrus is just looking to capitalize if he possibly can. That's how close he is to the back. Great graphics. I love this low shot because it shows you that Cyrus is looking on the inside of Janelli Cruz, but just hasn't got the pace to get there. Leaves the braking very late. Goes on the camber and is able actually to hold on and pick up P6.
And I did mention earlier, the Hyundai has really good straight line speed, and he used that to full advantage. Despite the straight being slightly short, he still managed to go on the inside and take away 6th place from Cruz.
Still Zuriel leads, continues to lead. His last lap 1:39.246. That is quicker than any lap other than Zarif Hazik has put in. Zarif second. Axel Mariano's been able to hold on quite comfortably into P3. This is looking a promising podium for the youngster.
Yep, and the guy who has incidentally a picture with Alex Young right there, he's put up a really good show.
Loving the battle going on between Escoto Cyrus and Janelli Cruz. Janelli Cruz at the battle of that three-man. Little look as we look on the hills of Salzburg, but the drivers are looking very, very much ahead. Cruz has got Cyrus and Escoto there. They do get close. Escoto takes the sharp right. It goes away from you, that corner, doesn't it? You've really got to control yourself on the brakes to make sure you don't overcook it.
Yep, for sure. The fact that these drivers will probably not be braking 100% anyway, because the harder you brake, the more the front locks up and the rear raises, because these are, again, front wheel drive cars. The rear wheels are actually just basically spinning like they're living on free rent. They just cannot brake any harder, otherwise the cars would just break traction as if the rears were actually spinning.
Escoto looks backwards onto Cyrus and Janelli Cruz. Cyrus gets very, very close there again. This is a good idea of the undulations that you're getting. Again, Cyrus. Good debut from Emiliano Cyrus, to his credit. Cruz is there as well. Now maybe Cyrus will want to make a move. Escoto keeps his line. Cyrus comes off the line. The race is over. Zuriel Summerdebilia has won. Zarif Hazik in second. Regal de Trois in third place. And Cyrus will finish in fourth place. So sorry, Zuriel was so busy watching another race that we lost you. But Zuriel Summerdebilia has got the victory.
No,
he hasn't. He's on the last lap.
Yeah, the race is still on. But the fact that 15 minutes just go by so quickly, we forget that the race. I mean, the fact that we saw just now, there was a Honda at the start-finish straight. So, don't know whose Honda was that. He just parked it there.
Yeah, there was, wasn't it? Might have been Kenneth Tay who's in a bit of trouble. Yeah, we're watching as they were coming over the start-finish straight. Zuriel Summerdebilia was way, way clear on his lap number 3. Regal de Trois has got himself in, and Axel Mariano, who was in P3, Amo, is out of the race.
Oh no. He was looking so good for a podium, and did he lose it somewhere, or the fact that he just got disqualified? But whatever the reason is, that big trail of smoke and the Honda parked at turn 1, that was him. What an absolute travesty.
So Zuriel Summerdebilia now will give you some attention. Make sure we do see you cross the start-finish line. Summerdebilia takes it comfortably. 3.5 seconds clear of Zarif Hazik. 1 and 2 in the championship standings. First win of the season for Summerdebilia. Good race from Zarif. Regal de Trois will come in for his first ever podium. The first ever podium for Vietnam in eRacing GP. Emiliano Cyrus in P4. Escoto and Janelli Cruz side by side for 5. Ken Smith will just pip Kenneth Wong for P7. Yahan Kalam for the Philippines ahead of Sean Sayre. And F-Mode Test in the points.
Wow, and look at that. First 4 positions are covered by 4 manufacturers and 4 different nationalities. The amount of diversity we have here is pretty awesome.
But Zuriel Summerdebilia, well, we saw him in Season 1 where he joined the Philippines and he couldn't really get any consistency. But now he is showing real consistency, and whether or not he's in a class below his abilities, it won't matter to him. Because he's at the top of the standings, Amo Hazik, and it doesn't matter the class. If you win your championship, you're the best in that championship.
Oh yeah, definitely, for sure. He is proving his class here. If he's dominating, not really so sure, but he's proving consistency is key. And with him scoring more points over this guy, Zarif Hazik, who's in second in the championship and in the race, he will have his work cut out trying to catch up to Zuriel.
So, Summerdebilia picks up the victories. Zarif Hazik from Malaysia and Regal de Trois. Good to see the variety. As you quite rightly say, 4 different nations represented in the top 4. Summerdebilia also picking up the bonus 2 points for fastest lap as well.
Great compliment there. Not only a win, but fastest lap. That pads up to more. And the fact that I think he started on pole as well, so it pads up his championship position even more over Zarif. That is looking good for him, absolutely.
So on to the reverse grid race. Sunny and dry, 19 degrees centigrade. Race 2. It is the reverse grid. We've got Amo alongside Des Corkill in the commentary box. We are going around the Red Bull Ring. As you can see, plenty of overtaking opportunities on this shortish circuit. The red lights are on. It'll be Axel Mariano and Daniel Oy on pole position. That's a very, very strong front row of the grid for the reverse. And they are indeed underway. And it's a slow start from Daniel Oy. Axel Mariano holds on. Kenneth Tay has sped into the lead. Brilliant from Kenneth Tay. But a nightmare for Daniel Oy. Behind them, Julie is in P8. Great start, though, from Yevon David as well. It'll be Yevon David who leads coming down this first straight after lap number 1, Amo Hazik.
Not to be confused with his brother Yevon, despite the same pronunciation. And I didn't expect the Hyundai to actually have a good start. But there you go. The Hyundai is leading with Yevon David. Second is Kenneth Tay in the Audi. Another car that we haven't talked much about. But he's second. And third is a Honda that we fancy to win this race with Axel Mariano, because he just lost it on the final lap there, while in third place. He'll definitely want to tone that in this second race.
Let's have a look at, well, Daniel Oy is who I really want to be involved with. That's, he's just cut there, Peter Dutoit. Daniel Oy was on pole position, but he had a dreadful start, didn't he? What's the problem? Because the Honda gets off pretty well quick normally.
I think he just got mugged there at the start, because either his internet connection wasn't good to the point that he saw the lights very late. 2, he actually got too much wheel spin from the front tires, or even 3, he just didn't see the lights because of the sunset. But whatever it is, he's dropped to 5th from what could have been a really promising position in pole.
A little bit further down, Zarif Hazik, who came second in race number 1, he's got himself up into P11. Zoriel Sumadebilia is just 4 places further down. He's got the Japanese test driver in front of him, who just catches Jahan Kalam. So Zoriel Sumadebilia goes round the outside, the two of them.
Oh, 2 birds and 1 stone. That is a gutsy move, and that's pretty much the champion's drive. He could take any opportunity and make it stick.
That's confidence, eh? That's
yes.
Confidence.
That's really confidence, and the crowd in Philippines goes wild. I think we can safely say that.
Well, there are Filipinos from Joriel Joseph. Good debut from Gianelli, they're saying. Well, Gianelli at the moment has got himself into P9 at the moment. At the front, though, Kenneth Tay and Yevon David are having a real ding-dong battle. This is for P1. Axel Mariano's also in that little group as well. Tay, though, in the grey, just tagging young Yevon David, really putting the pressure as they go on down the hill. Got to be careful coming around this nasty, sharp right-hand corner. Schlossgold. Are we in Schlossgold? Yeah, that's where we are. And Tay just edges into the lead. Is he able to hold on? Axel Mariano with the perfect view. Round Rauch. They'll head down to the Worth curve. And still it is Yevon David and Kenneth Tay. Ding-dong battle. Yevon David showing real maturity for a youngster.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He actually showed how good he was to battle his way through the pack in race 1, but don't know what happened at the end of there. We could get clarification from him through our own messages here. But yeah, either he thought that it was the last lap and spun the car, he inadvertently spun him out of the race, or he was actually disqualified. But whatever it is, he is in the good position here to actually either now get a win. That will make his day, his weekend, which started out disastrously, even better.
With 11:33 to go, I think even you're being premature, Amo. I do fully respect. Oh, a little bit of stock car racing from Yevon. A little bit of excitement for us. Axel Mariano moves into P2. Eases past Kenneth Tay. Ken Tay says farewell. The Singaporean loses P2 onto... And now he'll come under pressure also from Daniel Oy, who's recovered from that poor start as Daniel.
Yevon David thought he was Russ Smith for a second. He actually went completely 2 wheels at the first corner, but luckily he held it well and he still leads the race.
I tell you, he's increased his lead. Maybe he ought to take a bike in, because that was pretty impressive from Yevon David. The lead he's got up to 1.2 seconds. Daniel Oy has made a move on the inside of Axel Mariano, and Daniel tries to get through into P2. Can't quite get there. 10.5 minutes to go. So much can still happen in this race too. eRacing Grand Prix, Copper class Global Edition, we do expect mistakes from these racers.
Absolutely. And the fact that these drivers are, we can't see like the gold standard of driving, but they are proving themselves to be quite worthy to even be in the racing here, because they have not caused the big accidents that we might have thought would happen, and they're racing quite well despite being stringed out a bit.
Kenneth Tay under pressure in P4 from Peter Detroit. Here is Peter Detroit in the easy to pick out yellow. He's in the Cupra as well. And that's Kenneth Tay, who we went past, and Tay has made a mistake, lost 3, 4, 5, 6 places. And that is good for Zarif Hazik, because Zarif Hazik has got himself up into P7. Zarif would love to do well ahead of Sumadebilia, but Zuriel Sumadebilia is right alongside him.
And he's definitely going to make the move stick. Oh no, he didn't. He actually, I thought he had to run on the inside. Sumadebilia actually runs. No, he didn't run off, but he just got his nose cut across there by Zarif Hazik, and he has to stay in 8th.
These two have worked their way nicely through the field. Unremarkable, which is exactly what you want to be. And they've got nearly more than half the race to try and work this out. Zarif Hazik is the man who's currently in 7th place. Yevon David behind them. Axel Mariano is having a right old battle with Daniel Rain Oy. The Singaporean and the Filipino really going for it. It's Daniel Oy who's got himself up into P2 ahead of Axel Mariano. Peter Detroit in P4. That's Yevon David, who is still leading the way, the young Sri Lankan.
And Mariano there was trying to get past, because he knew that if he lets Yevon David, with the amount of power that this Hyundai has in the straights, he could get away, and he doesn't want that to happen. So he has to dispose of Oy as quickly as possible. Otherwise, he is actually touch and go. He's gone.
James Enco on Facebook was very much full of admiration for that move from Sumadebilia that took himself up into P8. But this is a really good battle. I'm enjoying the work of Axel Mariano. You really do like to see the youngsters giving it a go. A little bit too much contact there, though, and good defensive work from Daniel Oy, who had a nightmare race number 1, but we're really showing the ability of Daniel Oy from Singapore in race number 2. 8 minutes to go. We are on lap 5. Oy trails Yevon David by 1 second, but 1 second in eRacing GP is nothing. We've seen that many times, Amo.
Yeah, for sure. We saw like how Valderrama, even with a 2-second lead, he could have actually won, but unfortunately he tailed off at the end. So any advantage you have to make full use of it. Otherwise, it's no use. You're gonna be mugged anyway.
Let's have a look further down. Sumadebilia's coming under a little bit of pressure from Arjuna Santa from Indonesia. Indonesia, they had their own edition in season 1 of eRacing GP, and Arjuna Santa, he raced pretty competitively in a couple of those, and here he's giving Sumadebilia a run for his money. Sorry, he's an Indonesian, Arjuna Santa. Sumadebilia is the Filipino. And behind them from Malaysia, Hendra Adeputra. So there's plenty of racing going on midfield, Amo.
Yeah. Once again, it's because the midfield is where the concertina effect happens. If the leaders break away and there's one guy in front of this pack who becomes a cork in the bottle, everyone bunches up. And this is where we get the really, really good racing in between the midfield, regardless if the front is even close.
Janelli Cruz has got a lot of supporters on Facebook. Bad news for you guys. He is down in 13th place. Under pressure from Regal Detroit. May well be about to lose a place. He's level with Ken Smith, but Regal Detroit goes around the outside, and Janelli Cruz is going backwards. He needs to hear you more on Facebook. Ooh. Up at the front, Yevon David is leading from Daniel Oy. Axel Mariano still in P3. Unable to get the better of Daniel, who is defending really, really well.
In equal cars as well, he can't even get past because the cars on the straights are the same and the corners are the same. He really has to force a mistake from Oy in order to get past him. But so far, as you said, Oy has actually made the defensive moves stick. Well, actually, it's supposed to say that he went wide coming into the Remus curve. Will he defend it hard this time? He doesn't. He just gives a bit of room, but he has enough speed because that runoff area actually just gave him a little bit of speed. It's not an advantage gain, but it has actually given him a bit of a head start on Mariano.
An unusual way to take the track, and this time Axel Mariano, when he goes wide, again cannot do it. He just seems to accelerate out of the wide curves that he takes, Daniel Oy. It's an unusual style, but so far an effective one for him, Amo.
Well, there's actually because the cars just need to have a bit of a wider curve. Because these are front-wheel drive cars, the more turning you have is the more understeer you have, and you have speed getting scrubbed off. So what Oi is doing is basically gaining more speed despite turning less. And he actually still manages to get around the corners, which is impressive. He can still defend from Mariano, but he's not pulling that far off. So Mariano's still within a chance if he could force Oi into a mistake.
Axel Mariano was staking with P3 just for the moment, but let's just have a little look, because closing in slowly but surely, it was 4 seconds the gap between Peter Dutoit in 4 and Zarif Hazik in 5. It's close to 2.5. Is there enough time with nearly 5 minutes to race ammo for Zarif and Zuriel Samadebilia to get into podium positions?
Well, if you can see me shaking my head right now, I don't think so, because the gap's too far. 5 minutes, it might be a lot, it might feel like a long time, but with the way these cars are driving, they're so close to each other, 5 minutes will feel 5 minutes is actually very short. They are running out of time here to even get a podium position. At best, they could get Dutoit in 4th, but 2nd and 3rd are still far away from each other unless something calamitous happens between the both of them.
Dutoit has got a 1.3 second lead over Zarif Hazik, and Zuriel Samadebilia is beginning to make a move. He might make a move as they come down the hill. Might have to go the long way round. As you say, the four-wheel drive goes wide, does Hazik. Zarif, is he able to hold on? Samadebilia tries to force his way through. Great battling. This is important for Zarif Hazik. He cannot let Zuriel Samadebilia get further away in the championship.
Yep, there's the points between the both of them are now tentatively increasing, per se. So Zarif now will try all his best. He'll try from hell for leather to keep Sumedebia behind. But Sumedebia has shown his class so far, and it will be a tall order for Zarif to actually keep him behind.
Axel Mariano, Nocom, has eventually taken his Honda past Daniel Oy. He tried and tried and tried and tried, and eventually it came good. Daniel Oy is now the man who's chasing, and we've got 3 minutes 15 to go. Lap 7. They're lapping around about 140. So there could well just be 2 laps to go. Yep. Maybe 3 if Yevon David can really put in a quick lap.
Or if he could just back off, I think it would be about 2. So what you said is correct. 2 is at max will be the laps that they're gonna run. 3 if David actually somehow got a pair of rocket boosters that are kind of lap faster.
But Axel Mariano is closing right up on him here. Axel, I tell you what, having got himself into P3, it's almost like Daniel Oy was holding him back, because he's got a real run on the Honda. The Honda of Axel Mariano. The leader is the Hyundai of Yevon David. It's Sri Lanka versus Philippines. Talk about taking us across Asia. Oh. Pushing wide, and Mariano can maybe get through if he continues the straight line speed.
Oh, Mariano actually just about to get into the inside, but David held on because he's around the outside. He gets the inside line here, which means he can still hold on the lead, but he actually had a straight line advantage. He was pulling away slightly from Mariano, but got his braking wrong. The car here, the Hyundai, the i30, might be going the straights, but around the turns, it's actually quite dodgy. The brakes are not the best, so he could have, if he'd known about that, which probably he did, he should have braked earlier, but unfortunately, he has now flown into the clutches of Mariano.
This is a real test for young Yevon David. He has got real pressure from Axel Mariano. Daniel Oy is looking to maybe try to capitalize. Axel Mariano once again has a look. 134 left. This will be the last lap. Fastest lap so far is a 139, so we are on the final lap. It is a race to the line here. Yevon David has got to hold on for all he is worth. Is he good enough? Axel Mariano aggressively has a look on the inside on this never-ending corner.
Yep, this is basically it. It is turn 2 on this straight, surprisingly, despite it being a slight kink. As into the inside goes Yevon David. Yevon holds to the inside, but will he break in time? Just about, but he runs a bit wide. Mariano actually was trying to switch back, but David holds the line. So now it will be the straight line speed of Hyundai against the relatively good cornering speed of the Honda. So it's a straight fight to the finish. Will it be a Filipino double, or will it be a Sri Lankan winning again, like his brother Yevon in round 2?
They move on to Schlossgold. Daniel Oy has closed in very, very close while those two are battling. Daniel Oy may well fancy this one. Round Schlossgold. The next one will be the right-hander through Rausch. So Daniel Oy, can he get in? They take the left-hander through Rouse. It's still Yevon David from Axel Mariano. Three-way battle. Axel Mariano looks to make a move. Can't quite get there. Terrific final lap. It will be the final lap as well. Yevon David just holding on, Ammo.
Yep, and he's got a straight line speed here. He might just hold it towards the end, but he is under real extreme pressure from Mariano. This is where the driver's hands will start sweating like mad. If you're not wearing gloves, Mariano tries to get the inside, but David holds firm.
Yevon David is able to hold on surely as they come into the home straight. Yevon David under pressure from Axel Mariano. Yevon David, that is a brave, brave drive from Yevon. Axel Mariano from Daniel Oy, Peter Detroit. Zoriel Summer-Debelia coming in ahead of Arjuna Santa. Zarif Hazik making an error to finish in 7th place, but round of applause for Yevon David. That was a terrific way to hold on because Axel Mariano did everything in his power to overcome the young Sri Lankan. Alex Young rejoins us. Alex, that is terrific entertainment.
That was the two young karters from Sri Lanka based in Singapore and the Filipino Axel. Really, really close racing from the two of them. Well done.
Oh, I enjoyed that.
Johari got fastest lap, so he in position 6, so he gets an additional 2 points. But yeah, what a great race. We just don't get bad races, do we, Des? It's always so exciting. Another last lap, last corner, run to the line.
Mariano really gave it his all. Hazik has the consolation, as you say, of that fastest lap, but he lost ground to Zoriel Summer-Debelia in the overall championship standings. This is great. This is great fun, mate.
Great, good way to spend a Friday night, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, great racing, great fun. The DTM races was exhausting. It was just so much happening, and Copper Class didn't disappoint as well. I'm sure there'll still be a few protests we'll have to figure out before the end of the night is done. Got some editing, obviously, and then obviously we've got tomorrow as well.
Yeah, we've got silver, bronze, and the gold final, the 40-minute gold final that last weekend provided us 4 changes of lead on the final lap. The guy who led going into the final lap finished 4th. So 40 minutes or not, it is still effectively a sprint race. Do stay with us. The Copper Class boys have given us a really good ending. Congratulations to Axel, but particularly well done for Yevon David. 12 years old, is that what you told me, Alex?
I think 11 years old. They're all very young. These are all proper race car drivers. They're all young guys who are been karting since they're like 6, 7, 8 years old. So they've got some really good experience behind them. But they're trying to make the transition to sims as well. So they have a great natural feel for the car anyway. So really good to see them coming on strong.
And race control will be very busy working out the result, particularly in race 1 of Group B in the Gold edition. We will have all the results for you, and tomorrow's final. We're on air with racing at 2 o'clock. We'll start our pre-show at 1:45. We'll have bronze and silver, and then we'll have the gold finale. Alex Young, myself, Des Corkill, and Amo Hazik, who joined us in the commentary box. Do hope you've enjoyed it. You are watching eRacing GP.